Just started university, and my beautiful tutor turns out to be the mother of my child. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 1476 Meddlesome. Am I meddling in other people's business? Kneel down. Stop talking nonsense. Lin Feng said in a cold tone. At this time, he seemed to have changed into a different person, and his aura was so strong that Zhang Yuxi was surprised. Stinky boy. You really don't know what's good for you. You still want to be a hero and save the beauty, right? It's a pity that you are not an image. This little beauty broke my computer. I don't want her to pay for it, but she has to go with me. You can't stop her even if you come. The middle-aged man said. He seemed to be irritated. No one had ever dared to talk to him like this, but today he was asked to kneel down by a young boy. It seems that if I don't teach him a lesson, he won't know how powerful I am. The middle-aged man thought silently in his heart. Husband, I didn't, he broke it himself. Zhang Yuxi said in a low voice. Good boy, don't be afraid, I understand. Lin Feng said dotingly. Of course, he knew that the purpose of this greasy middle-aged man in front of him was to use the broken computer to put the blame on Zhang Yuxi, and then make the unreasonable right? But Lin Feng didn't take the middle-aged man's words seriously at all. Take my wife away. Oh, who gave you the courage? If you don't kneel down today, don't even think about leaving this place. Lin Feng said with a serious face. At this time, more people came and went, and everyone knew that something had happened on the second floor. The waiters also rushed over, and the store manager also hurried over. They were afraid that something big would affect the business. After all, it would be difficult to explain if something happened. What happened? Let's talk about it nicely. The store manager said with a smile and a friendly tone. At this time, the middle-aged man's assistant heard the movement in the store and rushed over, and walked to his boss. Mr. Liu. The assistant called to the middle-aged man. Arrange some people for me immediately. The middle-aged man said angrily. Obviously, he felt that the situation in front of him seemed a little difficult to deal with. Listening to Lin Feng's tone, he should not be an easy character to deal with. So he asked his assistant to arrange more people to come. When the assistant heard what the middle-aged man said, he immediately stepped aside and made a phone call. At this time, Chen Kun, Su Li, Chen Dongyan and others also came out. Because they found that Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi had not come back for a long time, they were worried and could not eat peacefully. Just then, they heard a loud noise outside, so the three of them came out to see. They found that Lin Feng was looking at the middle-aged man with a cold face, and Zhang Yuxi was still in his arms. Boss, what's going on? Is my sister-in-law okay? Chen Kun asked immediately. He looked at the situation and knew that something must have happened. Lin Feng was silent for a long time. Chen Kun and others had not seen Lin Feng so angry for a long time. You can imagine how serious the matter is. Watch your sister-in-law. Lin Feng said lightly. Then he walked towards the middle-aged man. Kneel down. Lin Feng roared. These two words were deafening, and scared the people watching the excitement around. Even the middle-aged man couldn't help but tremble. What happened? Why is this man so angry? Hey, that beauty is his wife. It seems that the uncle is dishonest and did something to his wife. Ah, no way, so disgusting. It turns out that men are not easy to deal with when they are old. Yes, the old cow wants to eat the young grass. People around were talking about it. As expected, everyone leaned to one side and condemned the middle-aged man. It seems that the eyes of the masses are still sharp. At this time, the middle-aged man still looked indifferent. No one dared to order him like this at his age. A brat who came out of nowhere dared to talk back to him like this. It seems that today will not end so well. Brat? It's the beauty who should apologize. She broke my computer, and it's good enough that she doesn't have to pay for it. I can understand that you are young and energetic, but it's better not to show off. Otherwise, don't blame me for being rude to you. The middle-aged man said with an indifferent look. Do you dare to adjust the surveillance? Slandering my wife, what kind of man are you? Even worse than an animal. Lin Feng seemed very calm and said. I said she was broken, so it was broken. How many files and things are there in my computer? What do you know, a child? The middle-aged man said unhappily. Hell, I'm afraid I know more than you. Lin Feng said with a sneer. I'll give you 10 seconds to think about it. If you kneel down and apologize now, I'll let you go. Otherwise, I can ruin your reputation. Lin Feng said expressionlessly. As long as he said it, he could do it. Who told this guy to endure it? He actually dared to touch her woman. This is absolutely intolerable. Ha ha ha. Listen, everyone, I'm laughing to death. Such an arrogant brat. Still want to mess with me? You really overestimate your own abilities. The middle-aged man laughed loudly, not taking Lin Feng's words seriously at all. Then he walked towards Lin Feng and stopped in front of him. He pointed at Lin Feng with his finger and looked at him provocatively. You brat? You'd better not mess with me. Otherwise I'll kill you. The middle-aged man said word by word fiercely. Lin Feng. Lin Feng looked at the middle-aged man expressionlessly, and was speechless. He looked at him like he was an idiot. Then Lin Feng raised his hand and grabbed the middle-aged man's finger that was pointing at him. He twisted it back hard. Ah! The middle-aged man screamed. He didn't expect Lin Feng to really fight him. You'd better not point your finger at me. Otherwise you won't know how it broke. Lin Feng said in a cold tone, and his eyes revealed a cold blood. I won't offend others if they don't offend me. If they offend me, I won't be polite. Lin Feng looked at the middle-aged man in front of him with cold eyes. I'm going to kill you today. Bitch. The middle-aged man said viciously. At this time, the middle-aged man's assistant saw that his finger was broken, and immediately ran over to help him. Boss Liu, are you okay? The assistant said in a panic. How long will it take to arrange the person? Kill this kid for me. The middle-aged man said with an angry face. Obviously, he was confused by Lin Feng's behavior. He never thought that Lin Feng had the courage to touch him. It seems that this brat is quite capable. But, he is still a little naive to fight with me. The middle-aged man thought in his mind. Lin Feng looked at the middle-aged man very calmly, to see what else he could do. After all, he has seen too many people who like to show off. Since he doesn't kneel or apologize, he can play with him if he wants. Chapter 1477 Fired. You two, please talk it over nicely. The store manager said quickly. Get lost. Call your boss over here. The middle-aged man said angrily. The store manager was furious when she heard what the middle-aged man said. But she couldn't open her mouth and curse, so she could only be friendly on the surface and curse the middle-aged man's family in her heart. Call your boss over here. Hurry up. Otherwise, your boss will fire you. The middle-aged man yelled again. The store manager had to leave the middle-aged man's side in embarrassment, and then went to the side to call her boss. According to the luck of the middle-aged man's order, it is estimated that he is very familiar with his boss, so he said so. The store manager could only swallow her anger and do it obediently. After all, she was also afraid of being fired. She had old people and young children to take care of, and she didn't dare to offend them easily. After all, she still needed to make a living and eat. In this way, the store manager called the store boss to tell him the whole situation. In a short while, a man in a suit came up from the first floor. Hello, boss. Hello, boss. The waiters in the store called respectfully. After the boss came up, he looked at the scene in front of him. There was also a middle-aged man with a slightly ugly face. Boss Liu, is that you? What happened? The boss immediately changed his serious expression and immediately said with a smile. Boss Zhao, you are finally here. The middle-aged man said. It turned out that the boss of this store, Boss Zhao, knew the middle-aged man, and the two had a good relationship and often interacted in business. No wonder the man with the glasses asked the store manager to ask Boss Zhao to come over. Everyone, go away, go away. Let's all go to the first floor to eat. Today, everything is 50% off. Go down and make arrangements. Boss Zhao said to the onlookers, and then directed his men to deal with it. Boss Zhao looked at Lin Feng and Lin Feng's roommates across the street. Slowly walked towards him. Young man, let's solve it privately. Okay, but don't cause trouble in my store. Mr. Zhao said. Lin Feng looked at the man in front of him with cold eyes. I want him to kneel down and apologize. This is the end of it. Lin Feng said lightly. Obviously, Mr. Zhao stood on the side of the middle-aged man, and they were now a united front. So Lin Feng didn't take Mr. Zhao's words seriously at all. If the middle-aged man dared to make a move on Zhang Yuxi, then he would not be able to leave the store safely today. Lin Feng never made trouble, but he was not afraid of it. Young man, don't act like a fat man. Mr. Liu is not someone you can afford to offend. Don't blame me for not reminding you. Mr. Zhao said. Lin Feng. Mr. Zhao saw that persuading Lin Feng was fruitless, and he returned to the middle-aged man. This stinky boy actually dared to make a move on me. I must clean him up today. The middle-aged man said angrily. Boss Liu, can we negotiate again? After all. Boss Zhao was interrupted by the middle-aged man before he finished speaking. Impossible. The middle-aged man said. Boss Zhao's face turned bad instantly. He obviously didn't dare to contradict the middle-aged man. But he was a little worried about his store. After all, this incident happened in his store, and his reputation would be more or less bad. But he couldn't make the decision on his own. Because the middle-aged man helped a lot in business dealings. Obviously, the middle-aged man's status was higher than his, so he had to show some respect. Afterwards, Boss Zhao learned about the specific situation from the store manager. Then he went to the monitoring room to investigate the surveillance and restored the whole process of the incident. It turned out that Boss Liu was framing. He actually openly attacked the young man's wife. No wonder the young man refused to let it go. Boss Zhao said while watching the surveillance video. Yes, boss, we have to suppress the matter as soon as possible. Otherwise it will have a bad impact. Although the discount has retained a group of customers, after all, word spreads from 1 to 10, from 10 to 100, from 100 to 1,000. It has more or less an impact. The store manager said. After hearing these words, Mr. Zhao did agree in his heart, but he seemed a little passive. On one side was someone he dared not offend, and on the other side was someone who would not give up. He was at a loss now. What's more, he also planned to open a chain store in Hangzhou. At that time, he would need the middle-aged man to lead the way, so he naturally dared not offend him. But it was indeed the middle-aged man who made the first mistake. And at this time, the middle-aged man could not let Lin Feng go. He had to deal with Lin Feng. Little did he know that Lin Feng was someone he could not afford to offend. After Mr. Zhao came out of the monitoring room, he went directly to the second floor. At this time, the whole scene was still deadlocked. Lin Feng looked at his watch, and it was already 7 o'clock in the evening. Young man, you'd better take a step back and apologize. I'll give you some money as compensation. It's better not to fight with Mr. Liu, there will be no good end. Mr. Zhao came to Lin Feng's side and persuaded him. You come to ask me to apologize without knowing right or wrong. Money. I can sell your place with just a flick of my finger. You're talking about money. Lin Feng said expressionlessly. Oh, young man, you are so arrogant. Who gave you the courage to say such things? You are just a young kid, what big talk. Mr. Zhao was obviously amused by what Lin Feng said, and looked at him in disbelief. He thought that Lin Feng was only a college student at a young age. How much ability could he have? He knew that young people like to show off. But it's too much? I'm too lazy to waste time with you here. Lin Feng said coldly, and then walked directly in front of the middle-aged man. Kneel down. Lin Feng said fiercely. The middle-aged man was furious at Lin Feng's words. He immediately stood up and punched Lin Feng. Damn brat, he said as he swung his fist. As a result, Lin Feng dodged with a quick flash, and the middle-aged man fell flat on his face because he used too much force. Ah! He lay on the ground and screamed. Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. I'm dying of laughter. Chen Kun couldn't help laughing at the side. Old man, can you do it? Don't be so stubborn. Ha 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 ha. Chen Dongjin laughed. Why don't you just kneel down and apologize? What are you pretending to be? Su He also said at the side. Even Mr. Zhao, who was standing by, couldn't help laughing when he saw this scene. But he tried his best to hide his expression, for fear that the middle-aged man would see it. The middle-aged man lay on the ground and was ridiculed until his face turned red, and his heart was full of anger. He felt so humiliated. He must have never been insulted like this before. Today, he was treated like this by a brat. He would definitely not let it go easily. Chapter 1478 Kneel down and apologize. The middle-aged man gnashed his teeth and looked at Lin Feng with vicious eyes, feeling very unconvinced. The assistant beside him hurried over to help the middle-aged man up. The middle-aged man was so angry that he pushed the assistant away. The person I want hasn't arrived yet. What do you do for a living? The middle-aged man roared directly, venting all the insults he received from Lin Feng on the assistant. Liu. Mr. Liu. It's almost Almost here. The assistant also spoke in a panic. Mr. Liu, are you okay? Mr. Zhao pretended to be concerned. Stinky boy. You're dead. He turned around and deliberately spoke to Lin Feng. In fact, he said this deliberately for the middle-aged man to hear, so that he would feel that he was still on his side. At this time, a group of people suddenly rushed in from downstairs. They rushed directly upstairs and immediately stood in 2 rows. Hello, Mr. Liu. A group of people shouted to the middle-aged man respectfully. Lin Feng was speechless for a while. It was this familiar routine again. The scene was quite grand. Boss, you are so arrogant. Chen Kun laughed at the side. Teach him a lesson, otherwise he will not know how powerful the boss is. Suhi also said. Lin Feng looked very calm when he saw a group of people coming, because he had seen this kind of scene many times. He was not surprised and was very calm inside. Boy, it may not be too late for you to admit your mistake now. Otherwise, you will not be able to escape after Mr. Liu speaks. Mr. Zhao said at the side. Don't worry, he will admit his mistake in the end. You are also related. Lin Feng said in a cold tone. Hell, you will not cry until you see the coffin. Smelly boy. Mr. Zhao said smugly. He was ready to watch the fun and wanted to see Lin Feng being beaten by the middle-aged man. Lin Feng. Lin Feng was too lazy to pay attention to him at this time. Since everyone liked to show off so much, he would accompany him to the end. Take this stinky boy away. The middle-aged man ordered his men to speak. Yes. After a group of people responded respectfully, they immediately walked towards Lin Feng. Want to take me away? Let's see if you have the ability. Lin Feng stood there motionless, just watching indifferently. At this moment, the people under the middle-aged man surrounded Lin Feng. And Lin Feng still stood there motionless, watching expressionlessly. The middle-aged man slowly walked towards Lin Feng, looking at him with a smug look. Smelly boy, are you scared? As long as you kneel down and apologize, I will spare your life. The middle-aged man smiled and said. He was still thinking about returning what Lin Feng said to him, and seeing Lin Feng motionless, he thought he was scared. Huh? Afraid? There is no word afraid in my Lin Feng's dictionary. I kneel down to apologize. Are you still dreaming and haven't woken up yet? Lin Feng said lightly. You are about to die, and you still dare to talk big? I will take you away today and torture you. You will be obedient. The middle-aged man said angrily. It depends on whether you have the ability. Lin Feng said. Okay. You, go and catch that woman for me. The middle-aged man said to several of his men, and then pointed at Zhang Yuxi. Who dares? Lin Feng suddenly roared. His tone was so cold that Chen Kun and others were shocked. He would never let anyone who touches Zhang Yuxi go. I didn't expect that this old man was still thinking about taking advantage of Zhang Yuxi. At this juncture, the middle-aged man was still challenging Lin Feng's bottom line. Lin Feng, who had a calm face, changed his face when he heard that he was going to touch Zhang Yuxi. He immediately became serious. Do it. The middle-aged man still ignored what Lin Feng said and ordered several of his men to go and catch Zhang Yuxi. But how could Chen Kun, Suhi, and Chen Dongyun let the middle-aged man succeed? Boss, don't worry, sister-in-law has us. Suhi said loudly. Husband, be careful. Zhang Yuxi also said with a worried look on her face. Lin Feng didn't say anything, but just looked at her affectionately, and the two of them understood each other. Take down this stinky boy. The middle-aged man spoke to a group of men beside him. Zhang Yuxi was protected by Chen Kun and others, so Lin Feng naturally felt relieved. So he could deal with this group of people wholeheartedly and let them see what color they were. Next, a group of people besieged Lin Feng, and everyone wanted to come over to grab Lin Feng's hands and feet. But how could Lin Feng stand still and let them beat him? After all, after his rebirth, his boxing and kicking skills were first class, and he could easily beat a group of people. What's more, these people had only a few skills, and they still wanted to be confident that they wanted to catch him. It was just a dream. Pa! Bang! Bang! The sound of punches hitting flesh came. In less than a few minutes, Lin Feng rushed out from the crowd and stood in front of the middle-aged man with a calm face. The corners of his mouth slightly raised. Suddenly, a group of people behind him fell down one after another. Ah! Ah! All of them lay on the ground howling in pain. This. What's going on? The middle-aged man was stunned by the scene in front of him. His body was shaking unconsciously, and he kept shrinking into the corner. Who is this brat? I'm afraid he's not a human. The middle-aged man thought in panic. And Mr. Zhao on the side also changed his face and hurriedly stepped back. He was afraid that Lin Feng would settle accounts with him. On the other side, a group of people were still besieging Chen Kun and others. They originally wanted to take Zhang Yuxi away. But they were also shocked by what Lin Feng had just done. And the brothers who were looking at the howling on the ground stopped. They all retreated to the middle-aged man and looked at Lin Feng in panic. They didn't dare to act rashly. Boss. Chen Kun and others came to Lin Feng's side and shouted. Lin Feng just nodded and immediately came to Zhang Yuxi's side. Husband, are you okay? Zhang Yuxi asked with a worried look on her face. Then she hugged Lin Feng directly. Good boy, I'm fine. Lin Feng touched Zhang Yuxi's hair and said. Wife, wait a minute. I'll finish the matter. Then, Lin Feng continued to speak. Zhang Yuxi also nodded obediently. At this time, she just let Lin Feng deal with it. She only had to wait obediently, which was the greatest help. Then Lin Feng slowly walked to the middle-aged man, and the middle-aged man's men surrounded him in panic for the last protection. Kneel down and apologize. Lin Feng said one word in a cold tone. In just a short sentence, you can feel how powerful Lin Feng's aura is. The middle-aged man was still trembling under the protection of his men. Chapter 1479, Not Knowing What's Good for You. Surround them tightly, surround them tightly. Don't let this brat hide us. The middle-aged man said in a panic. At this time, the group of people under the middle-aged man still did not dare to relax. Although they were all scared to death and panicked. But they still had to obey the orders of the middle-aged man and protect him. Do you think there is any point in doing this? Things have developed to this point. Do you think you still have the chance to leave here safely? Lin Feng said slowly. I can't apologize. Brat, I will never let you go. The middle-aged man still said stubbornly. Hit me to death. The middle-aged man suddenly roared. Then the group of people who were protecting him immediately attacked Lin Feng. Everyone took out a dagger from his pocket. Hell, brat, you're dead. The middle-aged man smiled smugly and said to himself. Husband, be careful. Boss, be careful. Zhang Yuxi and Lin Feng's roommates and brothers all reminded at the same time. Then Chen Kun, Su He, and Chen Dongyan all rushed over and came to Lin Feng's side. Originally, they wanted to let a few brothers stay by Zhang Yuxi's side to protect her, but before Lin Feng could say anything, a group of people under the middle-aged man rushed towards them with daggers in their hands. Lin Feng, Chen Kun and others quickly dodged and started fighting with a group of people. At this time, Lin Feng and several roommates were dealing with the middle-aged man's men. The middle-aged man saw that Zhang Yuxi was standing alone on the opposite side at this moment, and immediately had other ideas. It looked like he couldn't leave safely today. That's not to attack Zhang Yuxi. As long as she was in his hand, Lin Feng would not dare to do anything to him for the time being. Or maybe he could still have a way out this way. So he sneaked around from the other side to Zhang Yuxi's side, and Zhang Yuxi was worried about Lin Feng, so she focused on Lin Feng the whole time. The middle-aged man slowly approached her without her knowing. Suddenly, he went around her back and grabbed her neck. Zhang Yuxi was frightened by this action. Don't move. Otherwise, the middle-aged man said fiercely. On the other side, Lin Feng found that Zhang Yuxi was caught by the middle-aged man and was furious. Sure enough, he was worried when Chen Kun and the others came just now, and now it happened. He was extremely anxious, and then the middle-aged man's men stopped him again. One after another. Zhang Yuxi was frightened here, and immediately calmed herself down. After the middle-aged man caught her, she did not resist at all, but listened to the middle-aged man's words obediently and did not move. As long as you follow me, I will let that stinky boy go. The middle-aged man said with a smirk. Really? Zhang Yuxi deliberately spoke to the middle-aged man nicely, not to anger him for the time being. Of course. The middle-aged man said. Okay, then I'll go with you. Zhang Yuxi said calmly. Little beauty, you're quite docile. So fragrant. The middle-aged man said with an expression of enjoyment. He even got close to Zhang Yuxi's hair and smelled it, looking intoxicated. Zhang Yuxi was already disgusted at this moment and almost wanted to vomit. She was still trying her best to restrain herself and looked at the middle-aged man's condition with the corner of her eye. Now is the time. Zhang Yuxi suddenly turned around and kicked the middle-aged man's vital parts hard. Ah! The middle-aged man covered his lower body and screamed in pain. Ah! TM, you dead woman. Ah! The middle-aged man was still screaming, and he was in so much pain that he wanted to die. Wife, good job. Sister-in-law, you did a great job. Lin Feng, Chen Kun and others who were fighting over there all spoke. Lin Feng's heart was also relieved. Brothers, a quick battle. Lin Feng said. Got it. Boss. Sui and others all spoke. On this side, another danger for Zhang Yuxi was slowly approaching. Mr. Zhao was observing everything in the corner. Judging from the current situation, he would definitely not be able to escape the blame, and he would definitely be finished. In this case, it would be better to fight to the death. I don't believe that he can't get a girl. So when Zhang Yuxi was not paying attention, he secretly came to Zhang Yuxi's side. He thought of attacking Zhang Yuxi in order to threaten Lin Feng. However, because of the attack by the middle-aged man just now, Zhang Yuxi was obviously more vigilant than before. Zhang Yuxi had already noticed Mr. Zhao as soon as he came to her side. She immediately took a few steps back. What do you want to do? Zhang Yuxi scolded. Oh, haha. It's okay, I just think Mr. Liu is a little ungrateful. You actually want to attack you. Mr. Zhao smiled awkwardly after being discovered, and deliberately complained about the middle-aged man. But Zhang Yuxi still obviously saw through his conspiracy. So he hurried away. At this time, the middle-aged man who was still lying on the ground and howling, climbed up with difficulty, and couldn't walk properly. Boss Liu, are you okay? Oh, women are the most vicious. Boss Zhao deliberately said hypocritically. Why are you still standing there? Hurry up and take down that woman. Otherwise, neither you nor I can escape. The middle-aged man said with a painful look on his face. This woman is not easy to deal with. Boss Zhao said with an embarrassed look. But he thought about it, if the hijacking failed and he couldn't threaten Lin Feng at all, then his final result would definitely be worse. It would be better to just admit defeat, maybe there would be a way out. So in the end, Boss Zhao didn't listen to the middle-aged man's persuasion and gave up the idea of holding Zhang Yuxi hostage. On the other side, Lin Feng, Chen Kun and others beat down the middle-aged man's men in a short time. At this time, the middle-aged man was even more panicked and was about to drop his jaw. So he wanted to take the opportunity to sneak away from the scene. However, his little trick had long been seen by Lin Feng. Second brother, hold him. Lin Feng said to Chen Kun. Then Chen Kun immediately ran over and held the middle-aged man. Want to run? No way. Chen Kun said. Please be kind. Let me go. I was wrong. The middle-aged man immediately admitted his weakness and said. Let you go. I don't have the final say. Chen Kun sneered and said. At this time, Mr. Zhao immediately walked in front of Lin Feng with a smile. Young man, you are really amazing. It's all because of Mr. Liu who doesn't know what's good for him and insists on arguing with me. Now I've hit a wall. Haha. Mr. Zhao smiled awkwardly and said. Now he knew that the middle-aged man was unreliable, so he immediately added insult to injury. He flattered Lin Feng directly in front of him. Chapter 1480, Disgraced. Of course, Lin Feng knew what the man in front of him was up to. Are you the owner of this store? Didn't you say that before? It's a little late to flatter me now. Lin Feng said lightly. Hey, I was wrong. Don't blame me. It's all Mr. Liu's fault, really, he had to do it. Mr. Zhao still said with a smile. The middle-aged man on the other side was furious when he heard what Mr. Zhao said. He didn't expect that this guy would not only not help him at this time, but step on him. He saw through it. But at this time he was powerless. You ungrateful guy. The middle-aged man said angrily. Mr. Liu, you can't blame me for this. It's obviously you who did the wrong thing first. Hurry up and apologize to the young man. Haha, right, young man. Apologize well, and everything will be fine. Mr. Zhao said in a good voice. Apologize. Do you think it's still meaningful now? Too late. Lin Feng said in a cold tone. Seeing his expression, Mr. Zhao hesitated to speak, fearing that he would say something wrong and anger Lin Feng. This store doesn't need to be opened anymore. Lin Feng pointed at Mr. Zhao and said. Hey, don't. Please, I said the wrong thing before. But I didn't do anything, right? Let me go. Mr. Zhao immediately panicked and said. But Lin Feng didn't pay any attention to his words, but walked directly in front of the middle-aged man. He stood in front of him and looked at him steadily, without any expression. The middle-aged man was frightened by Lin Feng's aura and took a few steps back unconsciously, and Chen Kun was still holding him tightly. As for you, kneel down and beg for mercy. Let you live. Lin Feng said expressionlessly. Okay. I apologize. I admit my fault. I was wrong. Let me go. I shouldn't have touched you, and I shouldn't have asked someone to deal with you. I deserve it. I'm sick. The middle-aged man immediately knelt down and begged bitterly. Lin Feng's heart was calm at this time. But don't even think about getting into the workplace in the future. I'll ruin your reputation. Leave you a way out. Lin Feng spoke up immediately. At the beginning, he still thought that as long as the middle-aged man could kneel down and apologize, this matter could be discussed. Since the middle-aged man insisted on making such a big fuss and mobilized a lot of people to come and deal with him. In this case, don't blame him for being rude. You will bear the consequences. I must hit him hard and let him know how miserable the end of pretending to be powerful is. When the middle-aged man heard Lin Feng's words, it was like a bolt from the blue, and his eyes became dull. When he first came, he didn't believe that Lin Feng could do it, but at this moment he believed that Lin Feng could really do it if he said it. I was wrong. Please let me go. You can pay me as much as you want. Just please let me go. The middle-aged man begged in panic. Lin Feng still didn't care and looked at him silently. Since he couldn't take back what he said, he would definitely do what he decided to do, and he would definitely do it. Wife, come here. Lin Feng called Zhang Yuxi. Then Zhang Yuxi came over and came to Lin Feng's side. Wife, are you okay? Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi immediately became gentle. I'm fine. Zhang Yuxi replied. Come, apologize to my wife. Lin Feng spoke to the middle-aged man who was kneeling on the ground again. Oh, okay. I was wrong. I can't touch you. I was out of my mind at that time. Please forgive me. The middle-aged man knelt on the ground again, howling at Zhang Yuxi. Zhang Yuxi's resentment in her heart was not completely resolved. Facing the middle-aged man, she wanted to punch him immediately. But her reason was still restraining herself. Lin Feng felt the anger in Zhang Yuxi's heart and held her hand tightly. If he had to clean up, he should do it. How could he let his wife come out? Zhang Yuxi didn't do anything or say anything, just looked at the middle-aged man expressionlessly. She couldn't forgive him. Evildoers should be punished. Otherwise, I don't know how many girls will be targeted by this disgusting old man in the future. Husband, you can do whatever you want. This kind of person doesn't deserve sympathy. Zhang Yuxi thought about it and said. Okay wife, I will let him know the consequences of daring to touch you. Lin Feng touched Zhang Yuxi's hair and said. At this time, the middle-aged man was so scared when he heard Lin Feng's words that he trembled and couldn't control himself. He was scared to pee. Lin Feng saw a ball of liquid flowing out and instantly took a few steps back. This guy actually peed his pants. Lin Feng. He was speechless. Ha. I'm laughing to death. Fuck, this old man peed his pants. Chen Kun couldn't help laughing and said. Then Suhi and Chen Dongyan also saw it and laughed. Zhang Yuxi was disgusted and walked away quickly. Isn't this urinary incontinence? Ha. Chen Dongyan laughed and teased. Even Mr. Zhao, who was standing by, covered his face and couldn't bear to look at it. Is this still the Mr. Liu he knew? It's so embarrassing. The middle-aged man really wanted to find a hole to crawl into at this time. He was really embarrassed. He didn't expect that he had lived for most of his life, struggling in the business world, and had done well for so many years, but how could he be reduced to this state today? He actually fell into the hands of Lin Feng. He was now ashamed and could only smile awkwardly and pretend to be crazy. Then he crawled to Lin Feng and grabbed his thigh. I was wrong, let me go. Please. I was really wrong. You can pay as much as you want. The middle-aged man hugged Lin Feng's thigh and begged bitterly. He thought that since he was scared to the point of peeing his pants and had lost all his face, he could be as humble as possible as long as Lin Feng could let him go and let him continue his business. Lin Feng was still expressionless and shook the middle-aged man off. Get lost. Stay away from me. The money is with me, it won't solve the problem. Lin Feng said in a cold tone. Since the middle-aged man had already knelt down to apologize, he would definitely make him lose his reputation. Looking at the middle-aged man's embarrassed appearance, Lin Feng didn't want to stay any longer. Lin Feng looked at his watch. It was already past 9 o'clock. He still had to take Zhang Yuxi back to the city and didn't want to spend too much time entangled with these idiots. Chapter 1481, a wake-up call. You, get ready. I will arrange someone to come and talk to you about this store tomorrow. Don't even think about opening this store again. Otherwise, I have plenty of ways to make you unable to survive. Lin Feng spoke to Mr. Zhao behind him again. No, I was wrong. I apologize. I was blind and didn't recognize the great man. I was wrong. Please let me go. Mr. Zhao begged bitterly. After all, he had worked hard for so many years to get through this. He didn't know how many times he had to humble himself to achieve what he has today. Naturally, he was very reluctant to let go. And it was because he tried his best to please the middle-aged man that he had the opportunity. So today, even though he knew that the middle-aged man was wrong first, he still chose to cover up and stand on the side of the middle-aged man to deal with Lin Feng together. Little did he know that the person he offended today was Lin Feng. And it was not as simple as a small matter. The main thing was that he touched Zhang Yuxi, which was impossible to tolerate with this little bit of alcohol. Let's not talk nonsense anymore. Today I will teach you two how to be human beings. Lin Feng said coldly. Second brother, find out all the information about this bastard tomorrow. Lin Feng pointed at the middle-aged man and said to Chen Kun. Okay, boss, leave it to me. Chen Kun said. After all, Chen Kun is the best at investigating things. He can find out the background of the other party clearly. Let's go. Lin Feng said. Because it was getting late, Lin Feng didn't want to spend too much time with these bastards. After tonight, he would arrange someone to deal with them. He would never let them go easily. In addition, tomorrow is Monday and he still has to go to school. It will take 2 or 3 hours to rush back to the city from the town. After a day of things, he also wanted to take Zhang Yuxi back early. Then Lin Feng took Zhang Yuxi and a few brothers and left. On the way back, Lin Feng's expression was serious. Wife, you must bring your mobile phone wherever you go in the future. And don't run around. Stay by my side at all times. Lin Feng said slowly. Yeah, I know, husband. I just want to get a power bank. My phone is out of battery. Who knows? Zhang Yuxi said with a wronged look. I don't want this either. As Zhang Yuxi spoke, tears flowed unconsciously. Indeed, she just wanted to go downstairs to get a power bank, but she ran into a disgusting middle-aged man. He broke his computer and blamed her. He even didn't let her go, and suddenly wanted to take her away because of her beauty. She was innocent throughout the whole process. Wife, don't cry, don't cry. Dear husband doesn't mean to blame you. I blame myself for not being able to protect you in time. It's okay. It's okay. Husband has solved the problem. Husband will accompany you in the future. Lin Feng felt distressed when he saw Zhang Yuxi crying, and immediately comforted her. He didn't mean to blame Zhang Yuxi, he was just too worried. Fortunately, nothing big happened today. Fortunately, he showed up in time. If something really happened to Zhang Yuxi, he would never forgive himself in his life. He said that he would protect Zhang Yuxi for the rest of her life, and since he said that, he must do it. Because Zhang Yuxi is so beautiful, he would repeatedly remind her to be careful every time he goes out, because he is worried that some criminals will target Zhang Yuxi and then take advantage of her beauty and attack her. So whenever he goes out, he will keep Zhang Yuxi firmly by his side, and she must be within his sight. Only in this way can he feel at ease. If you want to blame someone, blame it on his wife being too beautiful. However, today, she just left his sight for a little while, and these things happened. So he just said those words to Zhang Yuxi, because he was worried to death. Since Zhang Yuxi left the table, he couldn't eat and was absent-minded. All his energy was on Zhang Yuxi. Unexpectedly, something really happened. Fortunately, he showed up in time today, otherwise the consequences would be disastrous. So, how could he let those guys go easily? Those who dare to touch Zhang Yuxi will be either dead or useless. But it also sounded a wake-up call for him, and he must be with Zhang Yuxi at all times in the future. Horizontal ellipsis. Zhang Yuxi certainly knew how worried Lin Feng was about her. If it weren't for Lin Feng, she wouldn't know where she was now. Hubby, thank you. I won't run around anymore. Zhang Yuxi said. Silly, you're not running around. No matter where we go, I'll be with you. Because my wife is too pretty and it's easy for people to target her. Lin Feng smiled and said. This. Then what can I do? How about I try to make myself uglier when I go out in the future? Zhang Yuxi said helplessly. After all, beauty is something that can't be changed, it's given by parents. Being too beautiful now is also a problem. Ha 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 ha. Silly wife. With your beauty, no matter how you paint it, it still looks good. It can't cover up your beauty. Lin Feng was amused by Zhang Yuxi's words and said, well, then just be fully armed. Try to only show a pair of eyes, and be able to see the road. Zhang Yuxi said deliberately jokingly. Silly, just continue to be responsible for Mimi. What is a husband for? He is to protect you. Lin Feng smiled and said dotingly. Husband, are you tired? Zhang Yuxi asked with concern. Because there were a lot of things today, and he was besieged by others. Although it was a piece of cake for Lin Feng, it was already past 10 o'clock and he had to drive for several hours to get home. Zhang Yuxi was also very distressed. Not tired, wife, you take a nap. I'll call you when we get home. Lin Feng said gently. I won't, I'll accompany you. Zhang Yuxi said proudly. Then she turned up the music a little louder, so that at least Lin Feng would be more energetic when driving. Then she sang together from time to time and chatted with Lin Feng. At noon, at around 12 o'clock, they returned to the city. At this time, there were fewer vehicles in the city, so it was not crowded. They returned to the downstairs of their home without any obstructions, and Lin Feng temporarily parked the car on the side of the road. So he drove behind and stopped. At this time, several of Lin Feng's roommates walked towards Lin Feng. You guys go back. You've worked hard today. Lin Feng said after getting off the car. Okay, boss, if you have any questions, we'll discuss it tomorrow. Chen Kun said. Well, there are still things to deal with tomorrow. I'll send a few more people to solve it. Lin Feng said lightly. Okay, boss, we'll go back first. Su-hee said. After saying goodbye to Lin Feng, Su-hee drove Chen Kun and Chen Donggyun back to school. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelists. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 1482, This Will Not Happen Again. Lin Feng also watched them drive away and got back in the car. He drove the car to the parking garage. When he got home, it was already 1 o'clock in the middle of the night. The first thing Lin Feng did was to go to the bathroom to help Zhang Yuxi prepare the bath water. Wife, go take a bath quickly. Lin Feng said gently. Well, thank you, husband. Then Zhang Yuxi went to take a bath. On the other side, Lin Feng was dealing with today's affairs. The middle-aged man would never appear in the workplace again. He would do what he said. Let him know the consequences of pretending to be cool. The next morning, Zhang Yuxi got up early as usual, made breakfast, and went to school after having breakfast with Lin Feng. Zhang Yuxi's roommates and girlfriend heard about what happened yesterday. When they arrived in the classroom, they immediately pulled Zhang Yuxi to sit next to them. Yuxi, are you okay? Are you injured? Xiaoyu said. Yes, we all heard about it. That old man is so disgusting. Li Yi also said excitedly. It's okay, luckily Lin Feng showed up in time. It was a false alarm, but those guys didn't have a good ending. Zhang Yuxi said lightly. We must not let them go easily. It's really too much? Suana said. Lin Feng will take care of it over there. As for you guys, did your boyfriend buy you a gift? Zhang Yuxi smiled and said. Because she didn't want to discuss this matter too much, anyway, it had already happened, and Lin Feng would take care of it, so she immediately changed the subject. What gift? Zhang Yuxi's roommates and girlfriend said in unison. The three of them were all confused, and they didn't understand what Zhang Yuxi meant. Ha ha ha. They haven't prepared it yet. Of course it's the gifts your boyfriend bought you. We agreed yesterday, because they didn't bring you. Buying gifts is a punishment. Zhang Yuxi explained. Well, I don't plan to pay attention to that brat anymore. This boyfriend is dispensable. Li Yi said helplessly. That's right. I've given up. I'm afraid I'll get sick from anger. Xiaoyu was also very excited and complained. I have nothing to say either. Suana was even more helpless. Oh, Lin Feng and I taught them a lesson yesterday. Don't do it again. Otherwise, Lin Feng and I won't let them go. Zhang Yuxi said. Although she didn't invite her roommates and besties this time, It was understandable and could be understood for the time being. After all, they were notified to go to town early in the morning, and for various reasons, she couldn't invite her girlfriend. But understanding is understanding, but it's still not enough, so they have to accept the punishment, that is, buy more gifts for their girlfriends. Don't worry, they will prepare the gifts today. After all, we came back too late last night. Today, there is a class early in the morning and it's too late. Zhang Yuxi helped explain. Just as she finished speaking, Suana's watch made a sound. It turned out that Chen Kun transferred money to her. At this time, Suana smiled with satisfaction instantly. Zhang Yuxi immediately guessed that it must be Chen Kun who transferred the money to her. This brat is quite sensible, Suana said with a smile on her face. Look, you see. Speak of the devil, Zhang Yuxi said with a smile. At this time, the other two girlfriends couldn't laugh anymore. It can be said that when someone is happy, someone else is worried. Xiaoyu and Li Yi are now staring at their phones, without any movement. Zhang Yuxi noticed the emotions of the two girlfriends. Don't worry, you two. What is coming will always come. Believe me, Zhang Yuxi immediately spoke gently to comfort her. Hey, I believe you. But I don't believe Chen Dongyan, Xiaoyu said helplessly. That's right. We all know what kind of people they are. They just don't take us seriously. Li Yi also complained. When Suana heard what the two girlfriends said, she immediately put down her phone and came over. Don't worry, Chen Kun, who is usually so frivolous, doesn't take it seriously. If he remembers it, you guys will remember it too, Suana said with a smile. Who knows, there was not a single message this morning, Xiaoyu said angrily. Go to class, and settle the score with them after class, Li Yi said. On the other side, Suhi and Chen Dongyan were still sleeping in bed at this time. They had no idea that their girlfriends were almost mad at them. That's right. The two of them didn't go to class this morning. Only Chen Kun got up and went to class in the classroom, which is why only Chen Kun transferred the money early in the morning. Suhi and Chen Dongyan originally planned to skip class and go to the mall to buy gifts after waking up. Buy all the cosmetics that his girlfriend likes. But, after returning from the town last night, he slept too late and couldn't get up this morning. He slept until almost 11 o'clock. At this time, Suhi woke up in a daze and picked up his phone to take a look. Damn, it's almost 11 o'clock. Chen Dongyan. Get up, Suhi shouted loudly. Chen Dongyan, who was still sleeping, was suddenly awakened by Suhi's shout. Oh, I was scared to death. I thought it was an earthquake, Chen Dongyan said with hazy eyes. If you don't get up, it must be an earthquake. Hurry up, go to the mall, Suhi said. If the gift is not ready by then, wouldn't it be an earthquake if the girlfriend is furious? Nothing else is scary, the scariest thing is that the girlfriend is angry. When Chen Dongyan heard the word mall, his mind became clear and he lost his sleepiness in an instant. I would have forgotten it if you didn't say it. Chen Dongyan sat up suddenly and said. Originally, they planned to get up at 9 o'clock and rush to the mall, because the mall counters were open at 10 o'clock, so they would have time to choose, and then rush back to school when the get-out of class was over at noon, so that they could give the girlfriend a gift. As a result, they overslept and it was almost 11 o'clock. Suhi quickly got out of bed and went straight to the sink. Chen Dongyan also hurriedly tidied. Then the two went to the mall to buy gifts for their girlfriends. Ding ling ling. Ding ling ling. At noon, the school bell rang. Yuxi, do you want to join us? Li Yi asked. I'll go downstairs with you. Lin Feng is waiting for me downstairs, Zhang Yuxi said. Then Zhang Yuxi went downstairs with several roommates and girlfriends. At this time, Lin Feng and Chen Kun were waiting downstairs in the classroom. After Zhang Yuxi and her roommates and girlfriends came downstairs, they found that only Lin Feng and Chen Kun were there. Several people looked at them in disbelief. Chapter 1483. Where did he go? Did the sun rise from the west? Why are you here too? Suana smiled and teased. Because usually Lin Feng waited for Zhang Yuxi downstairs in the classroom every day, why Chen Kun was here today, it was very strange. So even Zhang Yuxi felt a little surprised. Chen Kun couldn't help but smile when he heard what his girlfriend Suana said. However, Xiaoyu and Li Yi couldn't laugh. Because they didn't see Suhi and Chen Dongyan at all. Suddenly, I was angry. Chen Kun showed up, but the two of them were nowhere to be seen. Usually Chen Kun, Suhi, and Chen Donggyun are inseparable. Where are Suhi and the others? Li Yi asked. Yes, why didn't I see Chen Donggyun and the others? Where did these two go to fool around? Xiaoyu said angrily. Chen Kun felt furious when he saw the two of them. If he didn't say anything, Suhi and Chen Donggyun would be finished. Because before the class was over, Suhi had sent a message to Chen Kun. On the way back to school with Chen Donggyun, he asked Chen Kun to deal with Xiaoyu and Li Yi. Usually, they would eat with their girlfriends after class. If they hadn't seen their boyfriends after class today, Xiaoyu and Li Yi would definitely be angry. But in order to give them a little surprise, they could only not tell them for the time being. So, Chen Kun stood at the bottom of the teaching building, waiting with Lin Feng. After all, the things that brothers asked him to do should be done with all his heart. Oh, that? Sui and Chen Donggyun will be here soon. Let's eat together first. Chen Kun thought for a while and said. Obviously, Chen Kun's words were completely unconvincing. Xiaoyu and Li Yi were confused after hearing them. We'll be here soon. Why? Where did they go? Li Yi asked excitedly. I'll tell you, these two went somewhere to fool around. You don't have to hide it for them. Even if they are cheating, you have to say it directly. Xiaoyu said angrily. It would have been fine if Chen Donggyun hadn't sent any messages this morning. She was furious early in the morning, and then she didn't see him after class. She was furious. Hey, don't. They just have something to do. It's not what you think. Chen Kun hurriedly explained. It's okay, don't be angry. They went to do something. They're almost at school. Zhang Yuxi also comforted him immediately. Because she could understand it just by looking at Lin Feng's eyes. They didn't go to class this morning. Didn't you come back together last night? Xiaoyu asked. The more she talked, the more confused she became. They obviously came back together, so why didn't they see each other this morning? And now they were on their way back to school. It's true that girls are detectives and Sherlock Holmes in love. It's basically impossible to get away with it. They came back together. But Chen Kun couldn't explain any more. Facing the girl's soul-searching question, how could he continue to make up a story? I guarantee that they didn't do anything bad. Let's go eat together first, and they will come soon, and you will know what's going on. Standing aside, Lin Feng couldn't help but speak. Chen Kun was relieved when he heard what Lin Feng said. Xiaoyu and Li Yi naturally dispelled their doubts when they heard what Lin Feng said. After all, Lin Feng's words are still very credible. Let them choose to believe Suhi and Chen Donggyun for the time being. So, they followed Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi and others to eat. Lin Feng made a reservation at a restaurant near the school before get out of class was over. Then Chen Kun also sent the seat to Suhi, and the two of them could come directly after shopping. After arriving at the restaurant, Lin Feng asked Zhang Yuxi to order the dishes. Wife, are you hungry? If you are hungry, eat first, don't wait for them. Lin Feng said dotingly. It's okay, wait for them, they will be here soon. Zhang Yuxi said in a low voice. What on earth did these two idiots do? Eat a meal, and there are a lot of people waiting. Li Yi complained. Just as she finished speaking, Suhi and Chen Donggyun appeared, walked over slowly, with their hands behind their backs. Huh? They're here. Suana smiled and said. Then Xiaoyu and Li Yi looked over quickly. Where have you been? Xiaoyu said angrily. I think you're itching. Li Yi complained to Suhi. At this time, Suhi and Chen Donggyun were still walking over leisurely with a smile on their faces. The two men came to sit down next to their girlfriends. Suhi and Chen Donggyun both placed the gifts behind them on the dining table at the same time. Of course we went to buy gifts for the little fairy. Suhi said with a smug look on his face. Yes, otherwise what else can we do? This is our compensation gift. Chen Donggyun also said. Xiaoyu and Li Yi looked at a large number of gifts, and smiles appeared on their faces instantly. The fire in their hearts just now disappeared. I didn't expect it. Tisk tisk tisk. Li Yi smiled and said. Sui is usually not romantic, but I didn't expect him to go out of his way to buy it today. What a surprise. Isn't that right? Chen Donggyun has made great progress. Xiaoyu said. How is it? Big sister-in-law, this wave of performance is not bad, right? Chen Donggyun said with a smile. Why are you asking us? As long as your girlfriend is satisfied. Zhang Yuxi smiled and said immediately. Ha 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 ha. Everyone laughed when they heard Zhang Yuxi's words. I was wondering, how did he make such great progress? It must be Yuxi who taught him yesterday. Xiaoyu said. That also requires that he has a high level of awareness. I just reminded them, the rest is their own idea. Zhang Yuxi said with a smile. Besides, I didn't ask them to skip class to buy things. Zhang Yuxi teased mischievously. Ha 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 ha. There was another round of laughter. Wife, why are you so humorous? Lin Feng said with a doting look on his face. I learned it. Being with them every day must have some influence. Zhang Yuxi said playfully. Just like that, lunch ended in joy. It has been a long time since I had lunch with my brothers and girlfriends. Usually after class at noon, Lin Feng would take Zhang Yuxi and the other person to eat outside, then go home to rest for a while, take a nap and then rush back to school. Today, because of these things, everyone got together to eat. So Lin Feng decided not to go home, because Suhi and Chen Dongyan's affairs delayed him a lot of time. If he went home, he would not be able to stay for long and would have to come to school again. So he planned to let Zhang Yuxi and a few roommates and girlfriends go back to the dormitory to rest, and he would stay with a few roommates and brothers. Chapter 1484, Life is Worse Than Death. Wife, let's go back to the dormitory with him and rest for a while. Lin Feng looked at his watch and said. Okay, that's what I thought too. Zhang Yuxi said happily. That's great, since Yuxi has been with you. We sisters rarely sleep together. Suanna said excitedly. Yes, I still remember that we often chatted until midnight. Ha ha ha. Li said excitedly. All kinds of gossip news. But every time Yuxi fell asleep first. Xiaoyu smiled and said. Indeed. Because Zhang Yuxi is not very interested in any kind of gossip. She has always been a good student. In her eyes, she only has Lin Feng and studies. Where can she have so much free time to gossip? Besides, only others gossip about her and Lin Feng behind her back. After all, when Lin Feng confessed in front of all the teachers and students in the school, it had already stirred up the whole school. Zhang Yuxi is also a school beauty. How many boys dream of her? Even the girls wanted to take a few more glances, not to mention the boys. After she and Lin Feng got together, they naturally became the focus of everyone. Of course, there were many people talking about them, either out of envy or jealousy. So she was not interested in the gossip in the school. You are a typical gossiping women's club. Chen Kun smiled and teased. Get lost. You men don't understand. Suanna smiled with a look of disgust. Okay, go back. It's 1 o'clock now, you can go back and rest for about an hour. Lin Feng said slowly on the side. They had class at 2:30 in the afternoon, mainly because he wanted Zhang Yuxi to rest quickly. Because he came back from the town too late last night, he went to bed at 2 o'clock in the middle of the night, and Zhang Yuxi got up early in the morning. Lin Feng was feeling sorry for his wife. Because he didn't know how long he could chat with a few brothers and girlfriends. You guys should learn from Lin Feng, who feels sorry for his little wife. Li smiled and said. Why don't you feel sorry for me? I didn't go to bed until late last night either, and I went to buy you a gift this morning. So he immediately said jokingly. Get lost, you stinky boy. I told you to learn, but you got excited instead. I haven't even settled accounts with you yet, and you're trying to bribe me with gifts. Li grabbed Suhi's ear and said. Oh my aunt, I was wrong. You're the oldest, you're always right. Suhi immediately admitted defeat and said. Ha 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 ha. Sister, you did a great job. Xiaoyu laughed triumphantly. Tisk tisk tisk, it turns out that women are not to be messed with. Chen Dongyan shook his head helplessly and said. So, in order to survive, you have to offer your little ancestor well. Chen Kun smiled and said. At this time, Suanna gave him a look and immediately restrained herself. A group of people were watching the fun and laughed. Wife, you should have a good sleep at noon. Otherwise, dark circles will appear. Lin Feng said gently. No way. You are the one with panda eyes, Zhang Yuxi said mischievously. Okay, go ahead. Lin Feng touched Zhang Yuxi's hair and said. Yeah, Zhang Yuxi nodded obediently. Afterwards, Zhang Yuxi went back to the dormitory with a few roommates and girlfriends to rest. Lin Feng went back to the dormitory with a few roommates and brothers to discuss the middle-aged man's incident last night. Have you found out the background of that jerk? Lin Feng asked. Boss, we have found out. The old man's name is Liu Zhiang. Chen Kun said slowly. It turned out that the middle-aged man was Liu Zhiang, 42 years old, the boss of a real estate company, and he still had a big position in the real estate industry. However, this person's reputation in the industry is not very good, and news of cheating and raising a mistress has frequently leaked out. But he personally still enjoys it, just like before, flirting with other women outside. He doesn't care about the feelings of his wife and children at home, and he doesn't care about the evaluation of him by outsiders. As long as he has money and status, others still have to act according to his mood. Because Liu Xiaong's wife is a full-time housewife, he has been disliked for many years. He dislikes his wife who takes the children like a lunatic every day. He never dresses himself, so he is tired of his wife at home and starts to support a mistress outside and cheats in various ways. But his wife is helpless and has been swallowing her anger for the sake of the children. When he had nothing, it was his wife who followed him all the way to today. He has been doing well in the past 2 years, and then he immediately abandoned his wife who has been with him all the way, and supported various mistresses and had a lot of fun. This TM is really a scumbag. He complained immediately after listening to Chen Kun's words. Sure enough, his character is not very good. No wonder he attacked his sister-in-law. Chen Dongyun also said. At this time, Lin Feng's face was solemn and he said nothing. He hated this kind of people the most. Ungrateful people. How could he treat his wife who had been with him from nothing like this? Abandoned after he became successful. In this case, Raymond Lam decided to punish him severely. Let his career plummet and become penniless. See if he has any capital to go out and mess around with other women. Such a heartless person should be taught a lesson, otherwise he will never wake up. But, boss, he has a big project to start recently. So, this is the best time. Chen Kun said slowly. Boss, get him. TM scumbag. He said angrily. Well, I know. I'll arrange someone to deal with it. He will definitely be ruined, and there will never be a chance for him to rise again. I will make him live a life worse than death. Raymond Lam said lightly. Because with Raymond Lam's background and power, he can get rid of the middle-aged man Liu Xiaong in a few minutes. When he went home last night, he had already notified people to make arrangements. Just waiting for the day when the middle-aged man Liu Xiaong's project is launched, so that he can be embarrassed. Get out of the real estate industry, and even the entire business world. From then on, Liu Xiaong disappeared, leaving behind only a lifelong stigma. Boss, how do you deal with Mr. Zhao from that store? That guy is not a good guy either. They're all scheming people. Chen Kun said. That's right, boss. Look at how arrogant he was yesterday. Chen Dongyun also said. Lin Feng would naturally not let Mr. Zhao, the owner of that store, go. Chapter 1485 Establishment of a new catering company. Boss, Mr. Zhao has opened several restaurants under his name. The one we went to yesterday was just one of them. Of course he has a special relationship with Liu Xiaong. His current situation has a lot to do with Liu Xiaong. Chen Kun spoke slowly. When he came back from last night, Lin Feng asked him to investigate the details of the middle-aged man. He hurriedly investigated it after returning to the dormitory last night. By the way, he also investigated the owner of the store. Mr. Zhao, whose name is Zhao Ruyan, is 35 years old. He runs several catering companies, and the supporter behind him is the middle-aged man Liu Xiaong. As for why the two people are connected in the real estate industry and the catering industry, then the story has to start from 2 years ago. At that time, the middle-aged man Liu Xiaong had a leap-forward improvement in his career. He slowly opened up the market in the real estate industry and achieved considerable success in his career. At this time, Zhao Ruyan had just started in the catering industry. By chance, he came into contact with Liu Xiaong and found that he was still a well-known person. The background is okay. Zhao Ruyan thought that if he could have further contact with this person, it would be of great help to him in his career in the future. Sure enough, Zhao Ruyan gained Liu Xiaong's trust through his own means. Of course, Zhao Ruyan was still respectful in front of the middle-aged man Liu Xiaong, and he never dared to contradict Liu Xiaong in the past 2 years. After all, he could have such a small achievement today and his career was so smooth, thanks to Liu Xiaong. He was also a guide. But Zhao Ruyan was always dissatisfied with the middle-aged man Liu Xiaong. It was just because of Liu Xiaong's status and position, so Zhao Ruyan could only do superficial work on weekdays. He did a lot of things to fan the flames behind the scenes. Because Zhao Ruyan had been suppressed by Liu Xiaong for a long time, Zhao Ruian had to be centered on him in all aspects and make a profit from all the benefits. At this point, Zhao Ruian was already very dissatisfied, but he had no choice for the time being and could only obey. In this way, little by little, the complaints accumulated more and more. However, when Raymond Lam showed up this time, he thought Liu Zhiong could easily deal with him, so he was helping Liu Zhiong at first. But he didn't expect the situation to change suddenly, and Raymond Lam casually taught the middle-aged man Liu Zhiong a lesson. This made Zhao Ruian secretly happy, because someone finally took action to deal with Liu Zhiong. He did what he had never dared to do. Seeing the miserable end of the middle-aged man Liu Zhiong, Zhao Ruian felt happy. He had been pent up with too much dissatisfaction in his heart for the past 2 years, and it was released at this moment. However, because he also offended Raymond Lam, how could he let him go easily? So after the incident last night, he wanted to beg for Raymond Lam's forgiveness. He begged hard, but it was too late. His character was naturally not very good. Chen Kun found out that he was also unreasonable and cheated behind the scenes. Just for these problems, Raymond Lam couldn't let him go. Zhao Ruian, like the middle-aged man, had very bad character and means. In this case, if they met Raymond Lam, they could only say that they were unlucky. Teach them to start anew and start from scratch. I plan to take over his catering business. After all, the catering business in the town is booming at the moment. This is a good business opportunity. Lin Feng thought for a moment and said, "Indeed. The catering business under Zhao Ruian is doing well. From my investigation, the reason why he can achieve today's development is also because of Liu Zhiong's promotion. But he also made a lot of money from Zhao Ruian." Chen Kun said immediately. "Well, the popularity is okay, and the reputation needs to be strengthened. No big problem." Lin Feng said lightly. "Boss, we have to get him. Move all of them over." Chen Dongyun said excitedly. "It's not a problem to get all of them over. I plan to work with a few of us in the catering business. At that time, each of you will be assigned to manage a store. But you have to take some time to learn about the catering business." Lin Feng said slowly. After all, if he acquires and takes over, he still wants to lead these brothers, and he will feel more at ease with his own people. If he pulls in a few brothers, everyone can make money with him. It just so happens that Zhao Ruian has several stores under his command, so he can let his roommates and brothers manage a store respectively. If there are any problems, everyone can discuss and solve them together. The 4 of them set up a new catering company. "Awesome. Boss. No problem. Invincible, leave it to us." Suhi said excitedly. "Cool. Boss, learn, learn, learn. We learn." Chen Dongyun also said excitedly. "Boss, how do we do it? Can't wait." Ha ha ha. Chen Kun smiled and said. "This is not a joke. You must take it seriously. Don't cause any big problems for me." Lin Feng said. Lin Feng is very strict and serious in his career, and he thinks more carefully in all aspects. And he is also relatively strict in management. When he opened the juggling club with his brothers, he strictly controlled it and led his brothers step by step. Now, the brothers can handle many things on their own, and it is all Lin Feng's credit, who has brought them all the way up. "Don't worry, boss. We dare not take it lightly." Suhi said. "Yes, boss, since we have decided, we will go all out." Chen Dongyun also said. "Boss, you lead us, how dare we not take it seriously? Brothers work together, all passionate." Chen Kun smiled and said. "Yes. When I came back last night, I had already contacted someone to deal with it. It will take a while to acquire it. But there will be results in the next 2 days. Then we will go to find Zhao Ruian again on the weekend." Lin Feng said slowly. "Okay, no problem." Suhi said. "Then set up a new catering company. Change the name." Lin Feng continued to speak. "What's the better name, boss?" "Now it's called Ruian Catering Management Company, Limited. The company is in the office building of number 1 mansion, and the area is quite large. It's not far from where the boss lives, and it's only about half an hour away from the school." Chen Kun said excitedly. "Listen to the boss about this." Suhi said. "Yes, the boss is the main one. When the time comes, just tell me what needs to be arranged." Chen Dongyun said. Lin Feng didn't say anything at this time, and thought about it calmly. After a few minutes, Lin Feng stood up. "I still need to talk to Yuxi about this. Let her come up with a name when the time comes." Lin Feng said slowly. He felt that Zhang Yuxi must also participate in such an important fact, and every decision he made must be agreed by Zhang Yuxi before he would do it. He would also listen carefully to Zhang Yuxi's opinions and ideas. After all, if you listen to your wife, you can make a fortune if things go smoothly. Although he is now a millionaire, financially independent, and has made a fortune a long time ago. But it's right to listen to Zhang Yuxi, and everything will go smoothly. This is also what Big Wan Chai Shenji Jet Shunjia often says. Horizontal ellipsis. Chapter 1486. Listen to the boss's arrangements. Okay, sister-in-law decides. Chen Kun said. Anyway, we all listen to the boss's arrangements. Suhi also said. Lin Feng looked at his watch. It was already 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and the class would start at 2:30. Let's go to the classroom. Lin Feng said. They talked while walking on the way to the classroom. It was almost time for class. Then, Lin Feng went to the classroom with his roommates. Because Zhang Yuxi's afternoon class was in a different classroom from Lin Feng's. So he didn't go to find her. Instead, he sent her a message and asked her to wait for him downstairs in the teaching building after class. Lin Feng would pick her up after class. Time passed by minute. Soon it was time for the afternoon class to end. It just so happened that Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi didn't have classes in the evening. So Lin Feng planned to invite his roommates to dinner together, and bring Zhang Yuxi's girlfriends. Lin Feng had already booked a restaurant in advance, so he could just go there. It just so happened that everyone sat together and talked about the catering company. Let's have dinner together tonight. Call your girlfriends. Lin Feng said after class. Okay. His roommates responded one by one. Looks like there's something delicious tonight. Chen Dongyun said excitedly. Nonsense. Every time I'm with a boss, I always eat and drink delicious food. Chen Kun laughed and teased. Lin Feng. He was speechless. What else do these guys have in their minds besides food? It seems that it's right to work in the catering industry together. They are good at food. Give them what they like. Don't flatter me. I'm going to pick up Yuxi. Lin Feng shook his head and said. Then he strode to the stairs outside the classroom. Boss, wait for us. We're going to. Chen Kun shouted loudly. Then the three of them ran after him. After all, they also had to pick up their girlfriends. At this time, Zhang Yuxi on the other side was waiting for Lin Feng downstairs in the teaching building with several of her roommates and girlfriends. Because several roommates and girlfriends received messages from their boyfriends, saying that they would have dinner together tonight, and Raymond Lam would treat them. Do you think Chen Kun and the others will come? Suana smiled and said. That's not certain, these guys are so annoying. I never thought of coming downstairs to wait for us. Li Yi complained. That's right, it's hard to say. But not everyone belongs to Raymond Lam. Xiaoyu said helplessly. Ha 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 ha. Several girls laughed. After all, not everyone is Yuxi. All the school beauties are in our dormitory. Goddess treatment, Li Yi said with a smile. Hey, they will come. Don't underestimate them. Zhang Yuxi said. It's not that we underestimate them, it's just our usual practice. Haha. Xiaoyu laughed. Zhang Yuxi also laughed. One of the daily pleasures of being with a few girlfriends is to listen to them complain about their boyfriends. A few minutes later, Raymond Lam and several roommates appeared in their sight. Hey, they all came here with Raymond Lam. Xiaoyu said excitedly. Really? If Raymond Lam had invited them to dinner, I don't think they would have come. In the final analysis, it's all thanks to Yuxi. Li Yi complained. Ha 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 ha. Another round of laughter. Zhang Yuxi knew that her roommates and besties just like to complain about their boyfriends. In fact, Chen Kun, Suhi, and Chen Dongyan were all pretty good in their daily performances. It was just because of Raymond Lam as a comparison that they naturally looked much inferior. After all, they were not as steady and mature as Raymond Lam, nor as careful and thoughtful as Raymond Lam. Chen Kun and others just didn't pay much attention to small details in their daily lives, but they were not foolish in big things. However, it was precisely when it came to dating that girls paid the most attention to small details. Straight men have many shortcomings that don't please girls, but fortunately they treat them sincerely and don't use sweet words to deceive feelings. At that time, Raymond Lam's roommates and brothers were together with Zhang Yuxi's besties, and they were all sincere, and they didn't say they were just playing around. Moreover, under the influence of Lin Feng's treatment of Zhang Yuxi, they also changed a lot. They also treated their girlfriends more attentively. Therefore, although Zhang Yuxi's roommates and girlfriends complained, they had been getting along with their boyfriends like this, and they all loved and hated each other. What are you laughing at, laughing so happily? Suhi asked. Do I need to ask? I must be laughing at you. Lin Feng said calmly. Ha 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 ha. That's right. Xiaoyu laughed. You should laugh when you see us coming to pick you up. Chen Kun deliberately said jokingly. Come on. Praise yourself. Chen Kun's girlfriend Su Anna said. If it weren't for Lin Feng's dinner, you guys wouldn't even see a shadow. Li Yi complained. Hey, baby, don't be so blunt. Sui immediately covered his girlfriend Li Yi's mouth with a smile and said. Ha 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 ha. Everyone watching the show laughed. Honey, are you hungry? I booked a restaurant this afternoon. It's your favorite food. Lin Feng said gently. Zhang Yuxi nodded happily. After being with Lin Feng for so long, she never seemed to worry about what to eat. Because Lin Feng would arrange it, and then take her to eat, or cook for her. Lin Feng also always remembered Zhang Yuxi's preferences clearly, whether it was food or clothing. Zhang Yuxi was spoiled by Lin Feng like a little princess, and of course she was also Lin Feng's princess. Let's go and get the car. Lin Feng said to his roommates. Because Lin Feng parked his car in the school parking lot, he had to walk a distance to get there. Chen Kun parked his car downstairs at the club near the school, so they followed Chen Kun to pick up the car outside the school. Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi walked towards the school parking lot. Boss, remember to send us the address. Suhi said before leaving. Well, send it to the group. Go directly there after you get the car. Lin Feng said slowly. Got it, boss. Suhi responded. Then they left for the restaurant. After a while, Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi arrived downstairs of the restaurant. After parking the car, because Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi arrived earlier than them, they waited outside for Chen Kun and others. After a few minutes, Chen Kun drove over. Chapter 1487, Stand Alone. Second brother, you need to practice your driving skills. You're driving too slowly. Lin Feng said with a smile. Yes, eldest brother, you're driving like a snail. I was getting anxious next to you. Suhi complained. Safety first, safety first. Chen Kun said with an embarrassed smile. But it was true. He started first, but he arrived much later than Lin Feng. Chen Kun has always been very careful when driving. After all, he has only been driving for a short time. Practice makes perfect. Zhang Yuxi said with a smile. Yes, sister-in-law is right. Chen Kun said with a smile after hearing what Zhang Yuxi said. Damn. Lin Feng shook his head and said. Let's go, get on. Then he continued to speak. After arriving at the restaurant, they sat by the window, just in time to see the night view. Wow, this scenery is so beautiful. Xiaoyu said excitedly. Yes, the night view is so beautiful. Li Yi said excitedly. Because the restaurant Lin Feng booked was a high-end restaurant near where he and Zhang Yuxi lived, Zhang Yuxi's girlfriends had never been there before, so they were naturally a little more excited. Ha ha ha. Why do we seem to have never seen the world before? Su Anna laughed and said self-deprecatingly. Isn't that right? Such a luxurious restaurant is not something you can come to often. Li Yi also smiled and said. Zhang Yuxi looked at her sister so happy. She also laughed. Okay, there will be opportunities in the future. Let's eat first, the food here is very good. Zhang Yuxi said. Then, Zhang Yuxi's roommates and girlfriends all sat down and started to enjoy the food. Wait, take some pictures first. Xiaoyu laughed. Yes, the dishes are so beautiful. Buy more and send them to me later. Li Yi also said. Hey, that's enough. Chen Dongyun said. Lin Feng immediately waved his hand to stop Chen Dongyun and gave him a look. Chen Dongyun and the others did not say anything. They let Zhang Yuxi's girlfriends take pictures happily. After all, isn't that what girls think? Lin Feng understood. And they were all friends, so there was no need to care so much. Afterwards, after Zhang Yuxi's girlfriends finished taking pictures, everyone started to eat dinner. Wife, I want to talk about one thing when we have dinner together today. I plan to acquire the store where we had dinner in town yesterday. And all the restaurants under that person's name. Lin Feng slowly spoke to Zhang Yuxi. Zhang Yuxi listened to Lin Feng carefully and did not interrupt him. When the time comes, let Chen Kun and the others manage a store respectively. The companies that are taken over must also be renamed. Wife, what do you think? Lin Feng continued to speak. Well, then. Before Zhang Yuxi finished speaking, she was interrupted by Xiaoyu on the side. Can these few people manage it? They are not good at management. And it's the catering industry. Xiaoyu said with an expression of disbelief. After all, after a long time of getting along, Lin Feng's roommates are sometimes careless and unreliable. And when they were running the juggling club together, Lin Feng spent a lot of time and effort in the early stage to lead them all the way. So Xiaoyu's concerns are not just casual talk. But everyone is a friend, and she just said what she wants to say. As a result, she was stopped by her boyfriend Chen Dongyun after she finished speaking. Let you stop talking for the time being and listen to what Zhang Yuxi has to say. It's not a problem to acquire it. First of all, because everyone is in school most of the time, maybe only in their spare time can they have more energy to manage it. Then each store is in a different place. How can you, Chen Kun, balance it? This is a problem. Of course, I'm not questioning your ability. I don't quite agree with what you said. After all, the club has done very well with the efforts of you guys. Then there's the issue of brand. Although the flow of people in his store is also very popular at present. But compared to some popular ones, these dishes are still relatively niche. We have to increase our efforts after taking over, make more signature dishes, and promote them to increase their popularity. Of course, the prerequisite is to control the quality of the dishes. People will come back to eat only if they are delicious. As for the new name of the company, we have to think about it and can't be too hasty. Zhang Yuxi spoke very clearly. Lin Feng listened to Zhang Yuxi's mouth corners slightly raised. It turns out that she is his wife. Very smart, and what she said is exactly the same as what he thought. But then again, Zhang Yuxi is very smart. She is the typical type who is good-looking and good at studying, and makes people envious and jealous every minute. Otherwise, how could she do so well in financial management? In the field of investment and financial management, she is extremely sensitive to numbers. So Lin Feng also has a plan to open a financial company in the future. Zhang Yuxi is definitely a dark horse. Sister-in-law, I find that you are very talented in this area. It's much more thoughtful than we thought. Sui said in agreement. Yes, I agree. Sister-in-law, what you said makes sense. Chen Dongyun also said. Add one. Zhang Yuxi's girlfriends also said. Oh, you are too flattering me. I just said some small ideas and opinions. There is still a lot of knowledge in it. So there may be problems in the future. Chen Kun, you guys have to work hard. Zhang Yuxi smiled and said. It's okay, sister-in-law, don't worry. We plan to take time to learn about the catering industry. Chen Kun smiled and said. They did have this plan. Since Lin Feng took over, they were asked to manage each store. After all, they had no experience in the catering industry. So when they really wanted to do it, they still had to spend time to learn. There might be a lot of difficulties in the early stage, but with Lin Feng's support, they would feel more at ease. Since you are all going to be on your own, you can't be so frivolous anymore. Study hard and don't mess it up. Li Yi said. That's right, I'm still a little worried about you guys. After all, I haven't been in contact with it before. Xiaoyu also said. Don't look like you don't believe us, okay? I will make sure you are satisfied. Chen Dongyun smiled and said. Haha, it's okay. Sisters, let them try it out on their own. Zhang Yuxi said with a smile. After all, they always need to solve some problems on their own. Although Lin Feng has been leading them all the time, if they want to become bigger and stronger in the future, they will also need to deal with it alone. Lin Feng now provides such a good opportunity, which is just right to train them. Maybe in the future, Raymond Lam will be involved in more fields. When the time comes, he can let a few brothers help take charge, and he will feel relieved. They will also learn a lot and make money with Raymond Lam. Why not? Chapter 1488, Come out and see the world. Now that the matter has been settled, I will arrange for people to start working on it. There are some areas that need improvement, and we will hold a meeting to explain them later. Lin Feng said slowly. Wife, you are responsible for supervision. And you guys should find time to study. Lin Feng continued. No problem, boss. We don't have classes this week, so study at night and on weekends. Chen Kun said. Well, The whole process can't be done so quickly anyway, about 2 weeks should be enough. You only have 2 weeks to study, and you can make up for it later. Lin Feng said. Almost half a month, Chen Kun and the others can make up for it, and they can understand the most basic things first, and then act according to the situation when they encounter problems later. Moreover, Lin Feng plans to let each of them manage a store, which is equivalent to being the person in charge. So how to manage the catering is the most important thing for them to learn first. Chen Kun, you should learn the management of catering first. Because you are managing a store, there will be special people in charge of other aspects. For example, the financial department is in charge of the financial staff. The front desk is in charge of the front desk staff. The kitchen is in charge of the kitchen staff. Of course, each store will have a store manager. You guys should learn the management part. It's too detailed, put it aside for now. Zhang Yuxi thought for a while and said, Wife, you and I have the same idea again. You said everything I wanted to say. Lin Feng said dotingly. Tacit understanding. Zhang Yuxi said playfully. Lin Feng smiled and looked at Zhang Yuxi gently. Her ideas were indeed the same as his in many places. He believed that Zhang Yuxi would definitely be the most important promoter of his career in the future. Although he usually didn't need Zhang Yuxi to participate, even if Zhang Yuxi had her own career in the future, she would definitely be able to do it well. Listen to Yuxi. She's right. Tell me if there are any problems later. If it can't be handled, I'll come forward. Solve what can be solved by each of you. Lin Feng said seriously. Okay, no problem. Suhi said. Just like that, Lin Feng invited everyone to dinner tonight to discuss it together, and also decided on everything. He also got the support of Zhang Yuxi, and then he could start. In fact, before Lin Feng made a decision, he would ask or inform Zhang Yuxi, wanting to hear her thoughts and opinions. However, Zhang Yuxi would support every decision of Lin Feng, because in her opinion, Lin Feng is a very opinionated and leadership person. And for so long, every decision Lin Feng made was right. In terms of career, Lin Feng has not gone in the wrong direction. Therefore, Zhang Yuxi can be said to have 100% trust in Lin Feng in this regard, and all she needs to do is to support him all the way behind him. If Lin Feng needs her to participate, she will participate and give opinions and ideas. Okay, let's stop here today. Is there anything else you want to eat? Lin Feng said. Super satisfied. Everything tonight is delicious. And I also enjoyed the night view. Li Yi said excitedly. Yes, thank you, Boss Lin. Otherwise, we wouldn't have many opportunities to come to such a high-end restaurant. Xia Yu deliberately said jokingly. But it is true. Since Zhang Yuxi and Lin Feng have been together, Zhang Yuxi's roommates and girlfriends can often enjoy the treatment and food of high-end restaurants thanks to Zhang Yuxi. When they first got together, Zhang Yuxi often took her roommates and girlfriends to eat and drink afternoon tea together. Yes, thanks to my goddess girlfriend, I have seen a lot of the world. Ha 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 ha. Suanna also said jokingly. You are here to flatter me again after this busy period, let's go shopping together. Zhang Yuxi smiled and said. Of course, it's a deal. Li Yi said excitedly. Wait, we're going to do something big with the boss next. Work hard to make money. I'll take you to these high-end restaurants on dates in the future. Suhi said to Li Yi confidently. Everyone, bear witness for me. Don't just say it, Li Yishu said mischievously. Ha 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 ha. There was laughter again at the table. Don't say it, since I started running the club with the boss, I've learned a lot and made a lot of money. Chen Kun said with a proud smile. What he said was indeed true. Since they followed Lin Feng to run the juggling club, they have made great progress. They didn't know anything before, but fortunately Lin Feng led the way, helped them grow all the way, and made their first pot of gold in life. In college, it was considered very powerful. But all this still depends on Lin Feng, otherwise it would be difficult for them to reach such a level by themselves. So, now they are entering the catering industry, and it is also Lin Feng who is willing to lead them. Naturally, Chen Kun and others are full of confidence. Don't talk nonsense. I want to see your learning results in 2 weeks. Don't make excuses to me then. Lin Feng said with a serious face. Because only in this way can the roommates take it seriously. Let them have a sense of crisis, anyway, it can make them spend more time on learning. Chen Kun and others are also because of Lin Feng's strictness. Otherwise, they would be muddle-headed from the beginning, not knowing what to do. They just muddle through day by day, Or to put it bluntly, they are just wasting their time. Fortunately, they live in the same dormitory with Lin Feng, and they have changed a lot under Lin Feng's supervision. Moreover, Lin Feng's roommates also have some economic sense, otherwise they can't help them. Boss, don't worry, we dare not neglect it. Brothers will definitely study hard. Suhi said immediately. Suhi's guarantee shows that they will really take it seriously. After all, they are working with Lin Feng, and they dare not be casual. They can still be lazy in learning, but they are still very serious and responsible when it comes to things related to Lin Feng. Well, let's go back. Lin Feng looked at his watch and said. It was already past 9 o'clock in the evening, and everyone was full. Because it was too late to get home from town last night, Lin Feng wanted to go back early tonight, take a shower and let Zhang Yuxi go to bed early. After Chen Kun and others left, Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi went home. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 1489 Opening Ribbon Cutting. In the following week, Chen Kun, Suhi, and Chen Dongyan all agreed to take time out to sign up and learn about catering management. Time passed, and the weekend came again. This weekend, Raymond Lam had to go to Zhao Ruian's company to meet with him and deal with the matter personally. Zhao Ruian could not resist and could only accept his fate. Soon, the matter was basically settled. Zhao Ruian was only given a week to arrange the rest of his affairs, and Raymond Lam took over a week later. As for the middle-aged man Liu Zhiang, the result was obvious. From then on, there would be no such person in the real estate industry, and it would be even more impossible for him to continue to mix in the workplace. He just packed up and left. The final result was that his wife also divorced him. His career plummeted, leaving only a bunch of rumors. Since Raymond Lam suppressed the relationship and background he had before, no one was willing to come forward to help Liu Zhiang. Although he had begged for mercy many times in the middle, it was useless. Helplessly, he had to rely on the only remaining money to make a living. It can only be said that it is really self-inflicted and you can't live. Another week later, Lin Feng has been busy with work. In the past half-month, he either went to school with Zhang Yuxi, and most of the rest of the time was spent on his career. He had no time to accompany Zhang Yuxi. But Zhang Yuxi was very understanding. Lin Feng was not idle, but working hard. It was normal that he had no time to accompany her. It happened that today was the weekend, and Lin Feng had taken over the catering company. Taking advantage of the weekend when everyone had no classes, they went to cut the ribbon together to celebrate. Wife, are you ready? Lin Feng said. At this time, Zhang Yuxi was in front of the dressing table, dressing up carefully. After all, today is an important day. Husband, wait a minute, it's almost done. Zhang Yuxi said. Husband, look, do I look good like this? Zhang Yuxi changed into a white skirt, came to Lin Feng's side, and said. Beautiful. My wife looks good in whatever she wears. Lin Feng said with a doting look on his face. But he was not flattering. Zhang Yuxi would look good even if she was wearing a sack. Because she is good looking, she doesn't need to dress up to stand out on the crowd. Zhang Yuxi is called the school beauty for a reason. You say that every time I ask you, hubby, give me some advice, do I look better in white or blue? Zhang Yuxi said coquettishly. Wife, to be honest, they both look good. As long as you like it. Lin Feng said. Well, then white is fine. Let's go. Zhang Yuxi smiled and said. Then, Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi rushed to the company. At this time, several of Lin Feng's roommates and Zhang Yuxi's roommates and girlfriends were already waiting at the door downstairs of the company. Of course, Lin Feng's other brothers and friends came to show their support. At this time, Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi also came downstairs of the company. Yuxi, here. Li Yi waved to Zhang Yuxi excitedly and said. Then, Zhang Yuxi walked over and stood with her girlfriends. Goddess, you are so beautiful today. Li Yi said with envy. Yes, you are so elegant. Xiaoyu also said. Hey, goddess, which day is not beautiful? Suanna said mischievously. You are also beautiful today, aren't you? Look at how beautiful the skirt Xiaoyu is wearing. Li Yi has even arranged the eyeliner. Anna, You are even more beautiful. Zhang Yuxi said. Hey, today is special. Suana smiled and said. Lin Feng was greeting his brothers and friends and exchanged a few words. Wife, come here. Lin Feng waved his hand and asked Zhang Yuxi to come over. Zhang Yuxi walked over immediately when she heard Lin Feng's call. Stay with me. Lin Feng said gently, and then took Zhang Yuxi's hand. Zhang Yuxi laughed instantly because he was amused by Lin Feng's behavior. I know, husband. Zhang Yuxi said mischievously in Lin Feng's ear. Hello, sister-in-law. Hello, sister-in-law. Hello, sister-in-law. Lin Feng's brothers and friends greeted Zhang Yuxi when they saw her. Wife, look. Lin Feng pointed to the company's sign and said. Lin's Catering Management Company, Limited. Well, it looks a bit good. Zhang Yuxi nodded with satisfaction and said. You're angry. I'll listen to you. Lin Feng said dotingly. I plan to recruit some talents later, come and take a look. After all, I'm more confident in the people my wife chooses. After the personnel selection, it's up to you to decide or evaluate. Then Lin Feng continued to speak. How is the shortage of people now? A lot. Zhang Yuxi asked. No, everything is normal for the employees at present. Maybe if we want to expand in the future, we will naturally need more elites to join. Chen Kun and the others are only responsible for one store each, but some small details of the company still have to be handled by us. Lin Feng explained. Husband, don't worry, leave it to me when the time comes. Zhang Yuxi smiled and said. Well, leave it to my wife. Lin Feng pinched Zhang Yuxi's nose and said. It was already 10:30 in the morning, just in time for the ribbon-cutting ceremony. With the participation of a group of friends, everyone raised champagne and toasted to celebrate after cutting the ribbon. At noon, they went to the hotel for dinner. Lin Feng had booked the hotel in advance. When they came to the private room of the hotel, a large table was full of brothers and friends. Naturally, drinking was inevitable. Wife, can I drink? Lin Feng asked in a low voice. Yes, in moderation. When the time comes, call a designated driver, and you don't have to drive. Zhang Yuxi said. After all, in such occasions, Zhang Yuxi is still very sensible. The main reason is that Lin Feng himself is also very sensible. Generally, if there is a drinking party, he will tell Zhang Yuxi in advance. So Zhang Yuxi also gave Lin Feng enough space outside, and was generous. At this time, Lin Feng's brothers and friends all stood up and raised their glasses to toast Lin Feng. Boss, we brothers toast you. Whatever you want. Chen Kun said. Yes, thank you very much for giving us this opportunity. We will be responsible. Suhi also said. Thank you, boss. Thank you. Chen Dongyun also said. Well, work hard and make money. Lin Feng smiled and said. Of course. With a boss leading us, we will make money. Chen Kun said excitedly. Then Lin Feng's three roommates raised their glasses and drank them all in one gulp. In this way, a group of people ate, drank and talked about business together. Chapter 1490 The Driving Force for Progress. This meal. It was 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and everyone had almost finished drinking. Chen Dongyun and others were too excited, so they drank a little too much. They were all a little drunk, but fortunately their girlfriends were there to accompany them. At this time, Lin Feng was fine, and this amount of alcohol was a piece of cake for him. After all, Lin Feng's alcohol tolerance is recognized by everyone. Lin Feng's roommates and brothers all practiced their alcohol tolerance with Lin Feng. Otherwise, before this, the alcohol tolerance of several roommates and brothers was simply terrible, and they would vomit like dogs after drinking a few bottles. Later, after getting to know Lin Feng, they often came into contact with alcohol in various occasions, and slowly the alcohol tolerance of several roommates and brothers also improved. At least they can drink. But in front of Lin Feng, they are still too inferior. Husband, are you okay? Zhang Yuxi asked. Because everyone at the dinner table drank a lot of wine, seeing that others were drunk. Zhang Yuxi naturally cared about Lin Feng and didn't know how he was doing. It's okay, wife, this little bit of alcohol is nothing to me. Have you forgotten how much your husband can drink? Lin Feng smiled and said. It's good enough. I don't want you to drink too much either. Zhang Yuxi said. After all, drinking too much will still hurt your body. Although Lin Feng can drink a lot, he doesn't have to get drunk, which is not good for his body. Besides, it's impossible for Lin Feng to get drunk. Since he came into contact with alcohol, Lin Feng has never been drunk. He knows how to control the degree. In addition, every time he drinks with others, others get drunk first, and he definitely doesn't have the chance to get drunk. Well, don't worry, wife, Lin Feng said gently. Then he looked at his watch and then looked at the brothers in front of him. Go back, let them go back and rest. Don't drive, I'll call a designated driver for you all, Lin Feng said slowly. Then he took out his mobile phone and called a designated driver for them one by one. Boss, I can still drink, Chen Dongyun said. Stop talking. You're drinking even though you can't walk steadily. Xiaoyu complained speechlessly. Hey, you don't understand. You don't understand. Chen Dongyun muttered in a daze. Really? You're still trying to show off even when you're drunk? Xiaoyu shook her head helplessly and said. Hey, these guys are all pretty much the same. As long as they get excited, they'll definitely drink too much. Li Yi also complained. Yeah, but as long as they don't get drunk and crazy, it's fine. Let them drink if they're happy, Suanna said. After all, they didn't drink often, they only drank a little when they got together occasionally. In addition, today was the opening of the new company, and the brothers could be happy together, so they drank more. Let's go back, the designated driver has arrived. Let's go downstairs. Lin Feng stood up and said. Then he took Zhang Yuxi's hand and walked downstairs to the hotel. Yuxi, let's go back, Suanna said. Yeah, be careful. Can you carry them? Zhang Yuxi said. It's okay, they can. They can still walk, but they need to be supported. You go back too, Xiaoyu said. Yeah, bye. After saying goodbye to her girlfriends, Zhang Yuxi followed Lin Feng home. At this time, Lin Feng was feeling sleepy. After all, he had drunk some wine and was a little sleepy. Zhang Yuxi and Lin Feng sat in the back seat. Lin Feng leaned against Zhang Yuxi and squinted his eyes. Zhang Yuxi sat still and let Lin Feng lean on her quietly. Zhang Yuxi looked at Lin Feng, who looked tired, and felt very distressed. Because of this catering company, Lin Feng has not been idle for the past 2 weeks. Every day's schedule is full and he works hard. In addition to attending classes at school, he also has to deal with many tedious things. Although he can arrange someone to handle it, he still feels very responsible to come forward in person. Many things have to go through him before they can be qualified, and his attitude towards work is always very serious. Sometimes he has classes during the day, and he has to accompany Zhang Yuxi for a while at night, and then deal with work matters, and he may still be busy at 1 or 2 in the middle of the night. Zhang Yuxi saw all this, and she also asked Lin Feng to deal with other things first and not to accompany her. But no matter how busy Lin Feng is, he still has to take time out to accompany Zhang Yuxi. He distributes study, work, and feelings very well. He would rather put down the things at hand temporarily and take time to accompany Zhang Yuxi, because in his opinion, Zhang Yuxi's first place is the most important. Zhang Yuxi is his motivation to move forward. Husband, we're here. Go home and sleep, Zhang Yuxi said gently. At this time, the car had been driving back home for a few minutes. Zhang Yuxi didn't have the heart to wake up Lin Feng, so she stayed in the car for a few more minutes. Lin Feng heard Zhang Yuxi's voice and slowly woke up. Wife, Lin Feng said in a coquettish tone. What's wrong? Zhang Yuxi said. A kiss. Lin Feng smiled and said. Zhang Yuxi also laughed after hearing this. Then she gently kissed Lin Feng on the forehead. Not enough. Wife, Lin Feng said coquettishly. Oh, hurry up. Go back to sleep, you smell like alcohol, Zhang Yuxi said. She had long been accustomed to Lin Feng's cute appearance, because every time Lin Feng drank a little, he would definitely act coquettishly. Sure enough, men act coquettishly better than women. Then Zhang Yuxi took Lin Feng's hand and walked home. Lin Feng lay down on the sofa at home and fell asleep. Zhang Yuxi went to make him a cup of honey water. Although Lin Feng was not drunk, drinking honey water could quickly evaporate some of the alcohol. This would make his stomach feel much more comfortable. Every time Lin Feng came home drunk, Zhang Yuxi would prepare a cup of honey water for him to drink. Husband, drink a cup of honey water before going to bed. Zhang Yuxi came to Lin Feng's side and said. Lin Feng could only get up and drink the water obediently. Then he continued to fall asleep. Do you want to sleep in the bedroom? Take off your clothes and go to bed, Zhang Yuxi said. Wife, I'll sleep here. I haven't taken a shower yet, so I won't go, Lin Feng said slowly. Zhang Yuxi looked at Lin Feng lying motionless, so she had to let him sleep on the sofa. Fortunately, the sofa at home was bought big when it was first bought, very spacious, and easy to lie on. So Zhang Yuxi took a blanket from the bedroom and gently covered Lin Feng with it. Then she went to the study to read and study. Chapter 1491. Silly. Time passed quickly. It was already 6 o'clock in the evening. Zhang Yuxi came to the living room and found Lin Feng still drowsy. She planned to make some porridge for Lin Feng, thinking that he could drink it after he woke up. Drinking some porridge after drinking can warm the stomach. Then, she ate some fruit by herself, and dinner was done. After all, she had just finished eating at the restaurant in the afternoon, and she was not hungry at this time, so she just ate some fruit to fill her stomach. Lin Feng slept until 10 o'clock in the evening, when he slowly woke up. In order to let Lin Feng sleep soundly, Zhang Yuxi did not turn on the lights in the living room. When Lin Feng woke up, it was already night. The lights outside the window were bright, and the living room was dark. Wife, Lin Feng called out. At this time, Zhang Yuxi, who was reading in the study, ran out. What's the matter? Husband, are you awake? Zhang Yuxi came to the living room, turned on the lights, and said, Wife, why did I sleep for so long? Lin Feng said with hazy eyes. Stupid, you've been sleeping since you came back from the restaurant. Come on, I've made you some porridge. Get up and have some porridge. Zhang Yuxi smiled and said. She knew that since Lin Feng had to be busy with his career, he hadn't had a good sleep in the past half-month. He was often busy until midnight, and then got up early the next day to go to school, day after day, and it had been like this for half a month. So today, I just drank a little wine and fell asleep until the evening. Thank you, my wife. Every time I drink, my wife will make porridge for me. Lin Feng said. Come and eat. Zhang Yuxi said, and then helped Lin Feng make the porridge. Wife, eat with me. What did you eat tonight? Do you want me to make you some steak? Lin Feng came to Zhang Yuxi and said. I'll just have some porridge with you. I'm not hungry, Zhang Yuxi said. After all, I just finished lunch at 3 in the afternoon, and I'm not very hungry at this time, so I'll just have some porridge. If she said that she had only had some fruit for dinner, Lin Feng would definitely make her a steak right away, so she just said that she just needed to accompany Lin Feng to drink some porridge. Afterwards, Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi drank some porridge. Wife, prepare for the final exam. Then it's vacation. During the summer vacation, let's take our parents out for a trip, okay? The two families will have a good time. Lin Feng said. But, can you leave? Aren't there a lot of things to do at work? Zhang Yuxi asked. After all, he has opened another company now. Although his brothers are in charge, he doesn't have to worry too much. But after all, Lin Feng now has too many businesses under his name, and there are more things he needs to deal with. Don't worry about this, wife. I'll arrange it. Lin Feng smiled and said. Now all the companies are operating smoothly and are making big profits every day. Lin Feng will arrange people to handle other companies, and there are several roommates in charge of the catering industry. Unless there's a big move, Lin Feng doesn't need to show up in person. It's enough to leave it to them. It seems that they can handle it completely at present. So it's no problem to take 10 days or half a month to take the family out for a trip. It's a holiday, and you can also take Zhang Yuxi out to relax. Let the parents of the two families be happy. He had always had this plan before. During the holiday, he and Zhang Yuxi had some time to take the parents out for a trip. The family was lively. Husband, don't delay your work because of us. If you can't spare it, forget it. Or I can take some time to take my parents to play nearby. Zhang Yuxi said. She didn't want Lin Feng to delay his work because of his family. After all, Lin Feng now has so many careers and needs him more. Okay, silly wife. Listen to me, I'll arrange it. Just take your parents with you when the time comes. Lin Feng said comfortingly. Of course he knew Zhang Yuxi's intention, but how could he rest assured that Zhang Yuxi would accompany her parents out to play? Zhang Yuxi was fine with her parents, she was free and unrestrained. But her parents were her parents-in-law after all, so Zhang Yuxi was more or less restrained. He could understand Zhang Yuxi's intentions, but since the two families were traveling together, how could he be left out? So he was responsible for the itinerary this time. Yes, okay. Have you decided where to go? Zhang Yuxi said. Yes, of course it's the place my wife longs for. I'll tell you when the time comes. Just bring your parents-in-law. Lin Feng smiled and said, "Hey, you're making it so mysterious. The most important thing is to see where the parents want to go." "I'm fine," Zhang Yuxi said. "My wife is the most important. But don't worry, my parents will like it too," Lin Feng said confidently. In this regard, Zhang Yuxi had nothing to worry about. Because basically when they went out, Lin Feng arranged everything properly, and she just had to follow Lin Feng. After eating the porridge, Zhang Yuxi ran to the study to get her phone. Called her mother Zhao. "Hello, Mom, I have good news for you," Zhang Yuxi said excitedly. "My daughter, what's the matter? You are so happy," Mother Zhao said. "It's like this. During this holiday, Lin Feng plans to take our two families on a trip together. You talk to Dad, I will tell you in advance so that you can prepare. After the exam, we will leave," Zhang Yuxi said. "Oh, my good son-in-law. Okay, then I will ask your dad to accompany me to go shopping recently and buy some beautiful skirts to wear when I take pictures," Mother Zhao said excitedly. "Yeah. Okay, then, bye, Mom." Zhang Yuxi hung up the phone after she finished speaking. At this time, Lin Feng was also doting on Zhang Yuxi, who was smiling silly, not far away. Zhang Yuxi, who had recovered from her shock, turned her head and looked at Lin Feng, and found that he was looking at her steadily. She immediately ran to Lin Feng's side. "Honey, why are you looking at me like that? What's on my face?" Zhang Yuxi said. "Look at my wife being silly," Lin Feng said with a doting look on his face. Annoying. You're the silly one," Zhang Yuxi pouted and said. "Ha ha ha. So cute. Of course I'm happy when I see my wife happy." Lin Feng couldn't help laughing and said. Chapter 1492 Idiot, you will forget me in your next life? HMPH, I'm telling you, honey, I just told my mom about this, she was so excited. Ask my dad to go shopping with her to buy a new dress. Zhang Yuxi smiled and said. Buy it, I'll give you some money, you transfer it to mom. Lin Feng said. No need, honey, I have it here, just give it to me when the time comes. Zhang Yuxi said. Just take it if I give it to you, isn't mine yours? This is to honor mom and dad. Lin Feng said. Okay. Lin Feng said this, Zhang Yuxi had to agree. In fact, she knew Lin Feng's intentions, always giving the best to her and her family. Since being with Lin Feng, he has never treated her and her family badly. Even her parents said that Lin Feng is closer to her than their own son. In Lin Feng's view, every penny he earns is for Zhang Yuxi and for their future life. So everything he has belongs to Zhang Yuxi, no one is better than him. Okay, I'll go get you some bath water. Go take a bath. It's 11 o'clock. Lin Feng said. Yeah, thank you, husband. Zhang Yuxi said playfully. Then Lin Feng went to the bathroom to get some bath water for Zhang Yuxi, and Zhang Yuxi went to take a bath. Lin Feng went to the study to see if there was anything that needed to be dealt with today. After a while, it was already 11:30 at night. Zhang Yuxi took a bath and lay on the bed to apply a facial mask. Husband, take a bath quickly, and then I'll help you with your skin. Zhang Yuxi said. Well, wait a minute. Lin Feng said. Hurry up, take a bath first. I haven't taken care of your skin for a long time. Do you want to become an old man? Zhang Yuxi said. It's been almost a month since I last took care of Lin Feng. Before, Zhang Yuxi would tidy him up every few days. Because there are a lot of things going on recently, and because I just opened a new company, there are many problems that need to be dealt with, and Lin Feng can't take care of them. Just wipe off the toner and lotion. Boys are inevitably a little rough. In Lin Feng's opinion, as long as Zhang Yuxi is delicate, he is a little casual. Okay, right away. Lin Feng immediately stood up and said. Then he went to the bathroom to take a shower. After a while, Lin Feng also took a shower and lay on the bed. Zhang Yuxi had just finished skincare and helped Lin Feng clean his skin and apply a mask to replenish water. Wife, if I become an old man, will you still love me? Lin Feng said. Ha ha ha. No, greasy uncle. Zhang Yuxi suddenly laughed and said. What? No. Lin Feng said with a proud face. You are stupid, a big stupid. You have become an old man, so am I not an old woman? How can I not love you and despise you? Zhang Yuxi smiled and said. No, my wife will always be as beautiful as a flower. Wife, spend money freely, take care of your skin. When I am old, you will still be very young and beautiful. That is my sense of accomplishment. Ha ha ha. Lin Feng said proudly. Then I guess others will say that I am attracted by your money. You found an old man. So you have to take good care of your skin. Zhang Yuxi said. That must be because my wife is also excellent, so old men will be attracted by her. My wife deserves the best. I am responsible for making money to support the family, and you are responsible for being beautiful. Lin Feng said with a smile on his face. No, I have to make money myself in the future. It doesn't matter how much, there will always be some. Zhang Yuxi said. After all, she doesn't want to be like a vase in the eyes of others all the time. Acquaintances may be able to understand what kind of person she is. But in the eyes of unfamiliar people, the most outstanding thing is her appearance. In the eyes of others, she is a very beautiful person. It is easy to ignore her own talents and abilities. Therefore, she will slowly have her own career through her own efforts in the future. No matter how big or small, do what you like. Lin Feng certainly knows what Zhang Yuxi thinks, and he also clearly understands that she is a girl with her own ideas. So in the future, if Zhang Yuxi plans to break out on her own and start her own business, Lin Feng is still very supportive. Although he makes enough money, Zhang Yuxi doesn't have to work so hard. But he knows that with Zhang Yuxi's personality, she will still try. Since Zhang Yuxi can do what she likes, it is also a very beautiful thing. Silly wife, I make enough money for you to spend as you like. I don't want you to work too hard. Lin Feng said. That's different. It's good to be able to do what you like and not be so idle. Zhang Yuxi said. Okay, your husband supports you in whatever you want to do. Like happiness is the most important thing, it doesn't matter whether you make money or not. Lin Feng said with a doting face. He only hopes that Zhang Yuxi can spend every day happily, without any pressure, and leave the money making to him. Since Zhang Yuxi wants to do what she likes, he will support her from behind and let her go forward. Yet of course it's best to make money. Zhang Yuxi said with a smile. It's okay, my husband has plenty of skills to make money. You can have fun. Lin Feng smiled and said. What if I lose a lot of money? Will you dislike me? Zhang Yuxi deliberately said jokingly. Don't worry, my wife. No matter how much you lose, you can't lose it all. My husband has made so much money now that I can't count it. Lin Feng said confidently. It's true. After Lin Feng was reborn, he has all the skills rewarded by the system. He doesn't know how much money he has made now. Anyway, he makes a lot of money every day, and he has been making a profit for so long. He is talented and capable. Would he still worry about not having money? The thing he lacks the least now is money. And how could I dislike you? I can't even love you enough. As long as you are happy, don't worry about anything else. Then Lin Feng continued to speak. Hubby, why are you so nice to me? After hearing what Lin Feng said, Zhang Yuxi said while lying in Lin Feng's arms. Silly girl, who else can I be nice to if I'm not nice to you? Because I love you. Lin Feng smiled and said, then hugged Zhang Yuxi tightly. I love you too. You must continue to come to me in the next life, Zhang Yuxi said mischievously. Then you have to leave a mark, otherwise how can I know which one is you? Right. Lin Feng raised the corners of his mouth slightly and said. Then he moved towards Zhang Yuxi's neck. Oh, hubby, Zhang Yuxi said coquettishly. Leave a strawberry mark. Don't move, Lin Feng said with a look of a domineering president. Zhang Yuxi immediately lay down obediently. Then Lin Feng gently kissed Zhang Yuxi's neck, leaving a deep strawberry mark. Okay, now you can't run away. In the next life, the next life, the next life, always. You are all mine. You have to wait for me and you are not allowed to run away with me. Lin Feng said. Punchy stupid, you will forget me in the next life? How can I remember? Zhang Yuxi couldn't help laughing after hearing what Lin Feng said, and said. Chapter 1493, A Two-Way Love. Sometimes. Lin Feng gave her a feeling of being particularly mature and steady, but sometimes he was particularly cute when he was with her. And there was a hint of romance mixed in with his cuteness. However, boys are like this, right? There is a saying that men are teenagers until they die. In front of the girl he likes, he always reveals a little cuteness and childishness inadvertently. Although he can protect you from the wind and rain outside and do things maturely and steadily. But in front of the girl he loves, he retains a little fun and cuteness. I'm serious, don't laugh. I will find you. Wife, just wait for me. Lin Feng said seriously. Yes, okay, wait. Until you find me. Zhang Yuxi looked at the serious and cute Lin Feng and nodded and said, "It seems that every couple will have some conversations that are not nutritious. Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi are the same, just like ordinary couples, chatting about some weird but cute topics. But, husband, you made my neck like this, how can I go out tomorrow?" Zhang Yuxi complained with a pursed mouth. "This is the mark of love. It's for others to see." Lin Feng said with a smile. "That's right. Then I'll give you one too." After Zhang Yuxi finished speaking, she immediately kissed Lin Feng's neck deeply, and instantly a big strawberry mark was left on Lin Feng's neck. "Ha ha ha ha. Now we both have it. You said the mark of love," Zhang Yuxi said with a proud look on her face. "Silly wife, you can do whatever you want with mine. This makes me happier," Lin Feng said with a smug look. Zhang Yuxi looked at Lin Feng's smug look and couldn't help but pinch his face with her hand. "Naughty," Zhang Yuxi said. Hey, wife, your face is deformed," Lin Feng said. "HMPH, go to sleep, I won't pay attention to you," Zhang Yuxi said coquettishly. "Go to sleep, I'll take you to have morning tea tomorrow," Lin Feng said. Then, the two said goodnight to each other and went to sleep. The next morning, Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi, who was still sleeping soundly, so he tiptoed out of the bedroom. He took out his mobile phone and made a call. "Have the things I ordered arrived?" Lin Feng said. "Boss Lin, they have arrived. Just waiting for you to arrange the time to send them over," a man on the other end of the phone said. "Okay, you can come to set up around 3 p.m. Bring everything I want," Lin Feng said slowly. "Okay, Boss Lin," the boy on the other end of the phone said. After hanging up the phone, Lin Feng went to the bathroom to wash up. Because today is the weekend and it happens to be May 20th, which is the so-called 520. So Lin Feng arranged his men to prepare before that. He ordered gifts in advance and arranged for his men to come to his house to set up the scene. Of course, the arrangement was based on Zhang Yuxi's preferences, because Lin Feng knew it. He planned to take Zhang Yuxi to have breakfast this morning. It was noon after breakfast. He planned to take her to the nursing home to see some elderly people in the afternoon, because this was also one of the things Zhang Yuxi wanted to do. Go to the nursing home to see the elderly, chat with them, give them some warmth, and do what he could. In fact, since he was with Zhang Yuxi, because she was keen on volunteering, when he was free, Raymond Lam would find time to accompany Zhang Yuxi to help some people in need, such as left-behind children, disabled people, and lonely elderly people who had no ability, etc. Raymond Lam also donated money to many people in need, not a few. In addition, now he also feels that he has the ability to help more people, so he will pay attention to these people every once in a while. Send some warmth within the scope of his ability. After all, giving roses to others will leave a lingering fragrance in your hands. He has made so much money now, and he can't spend it all in this life, so he might as well give back a little to the society. And Zhang Yuxi is also a very kind and loving girl. As long as Zhang Yuxi wants to do something, Raymond Lam will fully support her and accompany her all the time. It happened to be May 20th today, so Lin Feng planned to take her to the nursing home after breakfast. After all, it had been a while since he had been there. Since today was the weekend, they both had time to go together. In this way, Zhang Yuxi would not find out the surprise that Lin Feng had prepared for her at home on May 20th. Lin Feng also wanted to let Zhang Yuxi mistakenly think that he had forgotten that today was May 20th, and then when she got home in the evening, she would find that Lin Feng had prepared a surprise for her early. After getting up this morning and making arrangements again, he was relieved because Lin Feng's men were absolutely reliable. After washing up, Lin Feng walked gently into the bedroom. At this time, Zhang Yuxi heard a little bit of movement, slowly moved in the quilt, and stretched. "Wife, little lazy bug. Get up, go have breakfast." Lin Feng came to the bed and touched Zhang Yuxi's little face and said, "Good morning, husband, when did you get up?" Zhang Yuxi said cutely. "Good morning, my wife, I just brushed my teeth and washed my face." "Little lazy bug, get up quickly," Lin Feng said with a doting look on his face, and then kissed Zhang Yuxi's forehead gently. "Sleep a little longer, lie down again," Zhang Yuxi said in a coquettish tone. "The sun is shining on your butt. Get up quickly, I'll take you to have morning tea. You can't be hungry for too long, otherwise your stomach will be uncomfortable again," Lin Feng said gently. Then he picked up Zhang Yuxi and went straight to the bathroom. Zhang Yuxi didn't resist, so she had to obey. because it was useless for her to resist in this matter. Lin Feng would not allow her to sleep in on an empty stomach until noon. Even if she sometimes slept in, Lin Feng would let her eat something to fill her stomach before going back to sleep. Lin Feng put Zhang Yuxi down in the bathroom and squeezed toothpaste for her. "Husband, you do everything for me. People who don't know me think I'm mentally retarded. No hands, no feet, no brain." Ha 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 ha. Zhang Yuxi couldn't help laughing after she finished speaking. "What's in your head? I'm your husband. It's my duty to spoil and love you. Why do you have no hands and no feet? Silly, brush your teeth quickly." Lin Feng smiled and said. In fact, Zhang Yuxi sometimes does these things for him, so it's nothing. Because if you really love someone, these things are very natural. After getting used to it, you don't think it's anything special, and it's a very common thing in the lives of two people. Because he loves Zhang Yuxi, he is willing to give, as long as she is happy. And Zhang Yuxi loves Lin Feng, so she is also willing to do these things, big and small things in life, giving without asking for anything in return to love Lin Feng. I just hope that I can walk with him like this for a long time. This is a love that runs in both directions. Chapter 1494 Ascus in the stomach. After washing up, Zhang Yuxi simply cleaned up in the dressing room. She changed her clothes for going out and matched clothes for Lin Feng. "Honey, let's wear couple outfits today." Zhang Yuxi said with a smile. "Well, listen to my wife," Lin Feng said with a smile without resistance. After that, after the two changed their clothes, they were ready to go out. When they arrived at the door, Lin Feng tied Zhang Yuxi's shoelaces naturally and went out. After Lin Feng got the car from his garage, he took Zhang Yuxi directly to the morning tea shop near his home. "The weather is great today," Zhang Yuxi said excitedly. Because the place where they sat down to have morning tea happened to be close to the window, they could see the weather outside clearly. "I plan to accompany you to the nursing home. Let's go to the nursing home to have a look," Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi said almost at the same time. Puchy Zhang Yuxi covered her mouth and laughed. "Honey, how did you know I wanted to go to the nursing home?" Zhang Yuxi smiled and said. "This is called telepathy. There's nothing we can do about it. It's the worm in your stomach," Lin Feng said with a proud look on his face. "Hey, look how embarrassed you are. Have you said hello to the headmaster?" Zhang Yuxi said. "Don't worry, I've arranged everything. They just arranged some activities for the elderly this afternoon. After we finish eating, I'll take you to buy some things first, and then we'll go over," Lin Feng said. Yes. Buy some clothes for Grandpa and Grandma. And some nutritional supplements. It's been a long time since I last visited them. I've been busy with various things and haven't been able to visit them again," Zhang Yuxi said. "Okay. Buy it, my wife. I'll pay," Lin Feng said with a doting look on his face. "By the way, husband, after we finish the exam, let's go see your grandparents first. Then take your parents on a trip. It's been a long time since I last visited them." Zhang Yuxi thought for a while and said. "Okay, Grandpa and Grandma miss you. I miss you every day with my mom," Lin Feng said. Lin Feng's grandpa and grandma also like Zhang Yuxi very much, and often talk about her with Lin Feng's mother Jo Kilin. Yes, Grandpa and Grandma are old, and it's not convenient for them to come over. Let's take more time to visit them, Zhang Yuxi said. After all, Lin Feng's grandpa and grandma are nearly 100 years old, and their movements are not very convenient. Even if they miss Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi, it's not easy to come all the way. So the young people can only run more errands and go back to visit. Grandma, you have to see us get married. I will give you a big red envelope when the time comes. Lin Feng smiled and said. Ha ha ha. Grandma is so cute. Next time we go to see them, give each of them a big red envelope. I can't bear to spend the money she gave, Zhang Yuxi said. Well, I'll prepare 2 big red envelopes for you to give. Grandpa and Grandma may not accept them, Lin Feng said. Then secretly give them. Ha ha ha. I still keep the red envelopes that Grandpa and Grandma gave me last time. I can't bear to spend it, Zhang Yuxi said. Because when they first met their parents, Lin Feng's grandparents were also there, and they also gave Zhang Yuxi a very generous red envelope. Zhang Yuxi didn't want it, but they said that it was the old people's intentions, and she couldn't refuse, so she had to accept it. Later, she didn't want to spend it, and kept it well. Although Lin Feng's grandparents are nearly 100 years old, they are not big at all and are very sober. They are also very sensible. It's very good for the old people to be able to do this. Lin Feng's grandmother is very clear about the proper etiquette and is not confused at all. She has always been thinking about Zhang Yuxi in her heart. So, wife, we will have a wedding as soon as we reach the legal age. Okay. Lin Feng said. In fact, he is already waiting very hard, although their current relationship is no different from being married. And his love for Zhang Yuxi will not change after getting married. But he still looks forward to giving Zhang Yuxi a perfect wedding. Witnessed by everyone, there are also vows and promises at the wedding. He wants Zhang Yuxi to become Mrs. Lin, the most beautiful bride. Because they are still a little far from the legal age for marriage, but Lin Feng is eager for that day to come soon. He is waiting tormented every moment. No, I don't want to marry you so soon. What if you change after getting married? What if another woman appears? Zhang Yuxi deliberately said arrogantly. In fact, she clearly knows Lin Feng's love for her, and believes that Lin Feng will always love her. But she just wants to tease him deliberately to see what Lin Feng will say. Girls are like this in love, always asking some unnecessary questions. For example, do you love me? For example, how much do you love me? For example, how long will you love me? For example, will you change your mind? These questions may seem like nonsense, but they are just what girls in love ask. They just lack a sense of security. Even if they believe in you, they want to hear the answer from their boyfriends. Silly, I won't change. If I change, I'll be hit by a car when I go out. I'm shocked. Lin Feng said seriously. Hey, bah. Don't talk nonsense. Zhang Yuxi immediately covered Lin Feng's mouth and said. I believe you even if you really change your mind one day. You have to be good. Don't curse yourself. Zhang Yuxi said. I won't. Absolutely not. Swear to this guy. Lin Feng said. Ha, that's not right. If you change your mind, I'll take you back. You can only be mine. Zhang Yuxi smiled and said. It has always been Lin Feng who has been domineering and declaring his sovereignty. If there really comes such a day, she will definitely not let him go. Silly wife, you probably don't have this chance. Because I can't leave you. Lin Feng smiled and said with a doting look. He could have such a good wife but he didn't want her. He might be really blind and crazy. Being able to be with Zhang Yuxi is a blessing. The boys in the school envy him so much. How could he give Zhang Yuxi to someone else? He would not mess around with other girls. Zhang Yuxi is the only one in his heart. Chapter 1495, Doing Good Deeds and Accumulating Merit. So full. Zhang Yuxi said mischievously. I won't talk nonsense with you anymore. Let's go buy some things after we're full, and then go to the nursing home. Then Zhang Yuxi continued to speak. I'm going to make you fat, so that you'll stay by my side forever. Lin Feng deliberately said jokingly. I'm not eating anymore, I'm on a hunger strike. Zhang Yuxi said proudly. Ha. There are more delicious foods tonight, are you sure you don't want to eat? Lin Feng said mischievously. Of course I have to eat. I'm a person who can't get fat, you'll be pissed off. Zhang Yuxi smiled and said. Silly wife, let's go to the mall to shop. Lin Feng said, and then took Zhang Yuxi's hand and left. Arriving at the large supermarket in the mall, Zhang Yuxi immediately walked to the clothing area for the elderly. After carefully selecting inside, in less than a while, she should have picked a lot. Husband, do you have any ideas? Zhang Yuxi tilted her head and said. I think we can buy some shoes for Grandpa and Grandma. Now we are picking clothes. Lin Feng thought for a while and said. Okay. Then we will go pick some shoes later. But, we don't know the size. Zhang Yuxi said. It's okay. We have several sizes. Let the Grandpa and Grandma choose by themselves when the time comes. Lin Feng said. Then, Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi came to the elderly shoe area. The advantage of large supermarkets and high-end shopping malls is that they have everything you want. You can buy what you want by just strolling in a supermarket. As a result, the two of them came and went and picked a lot of things. Looking at the two shopping carts in front of them, they were full. Wife, there are too many things. We can't take so many. And there are still many gifts and various nutritional supplements that we haven't bought yet. I'll arrange for someone to come and have them deliver them when the time comes. Lin Feng thought for a while and said. Because visiting the elderly in the nursing home was also a temporary decision. If these things were prepared a few days ago, they would not come to buy them in person. Lin Feng directly arranged for his men to be ready and drive directly to deliver them when the time comes. But the situation is special now. I thought it would be okay for 2 people. But now it seems that the shopping volume is a bit large, and the car driven by Lin Feng can't fit it at all. So, Lin Feng thought about it and decided to arrange his men to come and deal with it. Then, Lin Feng took out his mobile phone and made a call. He arranged 2 men to drive over and take it directly to the nursing home. How is it? Is it done? Zhang Yuxi asked. Okay, they will be here soon. Let's continue to select, and we can just load them into the car when they come. Lin Feng said. Yeah, Zhang Yuxi nodded obediently. Wife, since the car has been arranged to come, just buy more. Because this time, it may take a while to wait for the next time. Lin Feng thought about it and said. After all, it happened that I was preparing for the final exams and then I would have a holiday. At that time, I planned to visit my grandparents, and then take the parents of the 2 families on a trip for at least half a month. After the trip, I had to deal with a lot of work. School is about to start again, and time will be even more rushed after school starts. So the next time I go to the nursing home, it should be 4 or 5 months later. Because this is Lin Feng's current plan, of course, there may be changes in the middle. So if I have time to go there this time, I will prepare more things. Let the elderly in the nursing home be happy. Okay. We won't have much time to come here in the future. It may be very busy. While there's still some time now, buy more when you go there. Zhang Yuxi said. She felt that what Lin Feng said was not wrong. After all, it is not easy to go back and forth. It is not far, but it is quite far. Although Lin Feng sometimes arranges people to buy some things and send them over, it is not often that she and Lin Feng can go there together in their spare time. Even if it is just to accompany the elderly and chat, it is fine. Zhang Yuxi also plans to take her parents on a trip during this holiday, and then she plans to start her own business. She has her own ideas and plans to do something she likes. Although now she can invest in some projects and make a lot of money. She is also a finance major and has a good economic mind. So she still planned to start a business independently and fight side by side with Lin Feng. Well, go pick it up. Buy whatever you want. Anyway, my husband will pay, so you can buy whatever you want. Lin Feng said with a doting look on his face. My husband is amazing when it comes to spending. He's ridiculously generous. Ha ha ha. Zhang Yuxi said with a smile. I can't help it, I'm not short of money, that's why I try my best to give back to society. Help some people in need. This is what my wife said at the beginning. Lin Feng smiled and said. At the beginning, when Lin Feng's career was going smoothly, he was getting bigger and bigger, and he was making more and more money. Zhang Yuxi thought that he could help some people in need with so much money. Because now many people can't even solve the most basic problem of food and clothing. Some children in mountainous areas are in even more difficult conditions. So since then, Lin Feng often donates money and personally delivers it to those in need. Or arranges with subordinates to deal with it. Because the money may disappear before it reaches the hands of the needy through the channels of some charitable organizations. It is conceivable what happened in the middle. In order to prevent this from happening, Lin Feng had to come forward himself or let his subordinates take charge. In this way, financial and material resources can be implemented in the hands of everyone who needs help. It is because of Zhang Yuxi that they have been doing these things since they got together. Husband, do you still remember it? Not bad, not bad. Zhang Yuxi smiled and said. Of course, what my wife said should be remembered in my heart. But it's good that my wife said it at the beginning. Now along the way, we have helped many people in need. It's great to have a home to live in, food to eat, and books to read. Lin Feng said. Yeah, this is accumulating blessings. Helping others is equivalent to helping yourself, Zhang Yuxi said. But, it's far from enough. We just did some things within our ability. There are still many people who need help. But, hey. Zhang Yuxi sighed and said. Wife, we are already very good. The world is so big, we have done our best within our scope. It's okay anyway, these things will continue. Pay more attention, I will donate to those in need. Lin Feng comforted. Yeah, thank you, husband. I am mainly speaking for those who have received your help. Zhang Yuxi smiled and said. Okay, have you almost chosen the things? The people I arranged have almost arrived. Lin Feng said. Well, the clothes are ready. Let's go to the gift area and it will be almost done. Zhang Yuxi said. Afterwards, Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi went shopping for a while and bought everything. The people arranged by Lin Feng were also waiting outside. Lin Feng asked them to come in and help put the things down and put them in the car. Then, Lin Feng drove Zhang Yuxi to the nursing home. The people arranged by Lin Feng followed behind to pull the goods. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 1496 Visiting the Nursing Home. After driving for about 2 hours, we arrived at the nursing home. At this time, the director of the nursing home had been waiting at the door of the nursing home for a long time. Because she had known in advance that Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi would come today, she had been waiting at the nursing home early. After all, Lin Feng had donated money to help the nursing home, and he often bought things for the elderly in the nursing home. When the director knew that Lin Feng, a college student, was so capable and talented, young and promising, he looked at him with admiration. Naturally, the director of the nursing home respected him a little more. Mr. Lin, Mrs. Lin, you are here, the director said with a smile on his face. At first, she still called Zhang Yuxi by her name. Later, she knew that Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi were engaged, so when they met again, she called Zhang Yuxi Mrs. Lin. Zhang Yuxi once said that she could continue to call her by her name. After all, the director was more than 10 years older than her and was more like an older sister. The director of the nursing home was also very friendly to Zhang Yuxi. Usually, the elderly in the nursing home would share any situation with Zhang Yuxi. So Zhang Yuxi felt that calling her by her name was more intimate. But the director still insisted on calling Zhang Yuxi Mrs. Lin, which showed more respect for Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi. Well, Sister Chang, long time no see. Zhang Yuxi immediately stepped forward and smiled and said. Because the director of the nursing home is called Chang Hujun, Zhang Yuxi has a good relationship with her and has always called the director Sister Chang. Long time no see, still so beautiful, the director said while holding Zhang Yuxi's arm. Maybe she has gained some weight, Zhang Yuxi said self-deprecatingly. No, she is still the same. If she has gained weight, it is because General Manager Lin takes good care of her, the director said. After all, as far as I know, General Manager Lin is a famous wife-loving maniac. Then the director spoke to Lin Feng again. Of course you should spoil your own wife. Otherwise, she will run away with someone else. Lin Feng smiled and said. Mrs. Lin is not a girl like that. She is beautiful and kind. Besides, how could Mr. Lin, who is so outstanding, not want her? You two are a perfect match, born to be together. No matter who you are not suitable for each other. The dean smiled and said. Sister Chang, I am embarrassed by your praise. Zhang Yuxi scratched her head and said. Just tell the truth, the dean said. While chatting, Lin Feng's men took all the things off the car. By the way, Sister Chang, these things. Zhang Yuxi pointed to the things she bought and said. Look at me, I almost forgot about the business when I was chatting so much. Put it in the office on the first floor on the right first. I will arrange for a nurse to go with you to distribute it later. The dean smiled and said. Move the things to the office. Lin Feng said lightly. Yes, Mr. Lin. The men responded immediately. Then, Lin Feng's men moved the things into the office on the first floor one by one. Zhang Yuxi and the director walked in while chatting, and Lin Feng followed Zhang Yuxi. It's been a long time since I came. The grandparents are all thinking about you. They always ask me why you haven't come yet. The director said. Well, I have to go to class again, and I'm busy. Haha, so I came here while I had some free time. Zhang Yuxi smiled and said. Oh, you buy a lot of things every time you come. Thank you so much, the director said politely. It's okay as long as the elderly are happy, Zhang Yuxi said. Sister Chang, didn't you say that there are some activities for the elderly today? Lin Feng said beside him. Yes, an elderly gathering. Singing and dancing, organize them to play, the director said. Then, the director took Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi to the event site. At this time, the elderly in the entire nursing home gathered together for activities. Because the nursing home has an event every month, let the elderly get together to have fun. At this time, There were laughter and joy, and they were having fun. The nurse who was hosting the event saw the director bringing Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi over, and hurriedly followed. Because everyone in this nursing home knew Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi, the nurses were quite excited. "Boss Lin, Miss Zhang, you are here," the nurse said excitedly. "Yes, long time no see." Zhang Yuxi smiled and responded politely. Come on. Grandparents miss you so much." The nurse took Zhang Yuxi and walked into the crowd. Some of the more sharp-eyed grandparents immediately recognized Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi. "Oh, my little granddaughter is here." "Really? Baby Yuxi is here." Oh, baby." The grandparents were very excited to see Zhang Yuxi, and they all rushed to speak. Because Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi would come to visit them when they were free, and bought a lot of things for them, the elderly in the nursing home have always regarded Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi as their grandson and granddaughter. "Grandpa and Grandma, hello. It's been a long time since we last met. Do you remember me?" Zhang Yuxi said playfully. "I remember. Baby, why did you come just now?" "Yes, I haven't seen you for a long time. Grandpa missed you so much." The grandparents were all excited. Grandpa and Grandma, and me. Remember. Lin Feng also came to Zhang Yuxi's side and said, "Stinky boy, it's been a long time since you came to play chess with Grandpa. Remember, young couple. Handsome boy, if you don't come again, Grandma will get older and won't be able to see you clearly." The old people were all vying to speak. "Grandpa, I'll play a game of chess with you later and see if I can beat you." Lin Feng smiled and said. Because he had come before, Lin Feng would play chess with Grandpa, and he would deliberately lose every time so that Grandpa could win. So every time Grandpa saw Lin Feng, he would be a little proud and complain that Lin Feng's chess skills were too bad. But Lin Feng was also very satisfied to see that Grandpa was so fulfilled and happy. "You have to work harder. It's hard to beat Grandpa," Grandpa said proudly. "Ha ha ha. I'll try my best to beat Grandpa," Lin Feng said with a smile. "The handsome boy is your old man," Grandma said. "You're talking nonsense. I'm good at chess. Why are you letting me win?" Grandpa said with an unconvinced look on his face. Ha ha ha. After Grandpa finished speaking, the old people present all laughed. Chapter 1497 Performance Talent. On the other side, the grandmas were holding Zhang Yuxi's hands and chatting excitedly. "Baby, I thought you wouldn't come. Grandma missed you so much. How is your study?" Grandma said with a concerned look, reluctant to let go of Zhang Yuxi's hand. "Grandma, I miss you too. Everything is fine with me. It's just that there are a lot of things to do, so I'm a little busy. I came here as soon as I had time today," Zhang Yuxi said obediently. That's good. Young people, it's better to be busy. If you are still busy, take care of your health," Grandma said slowly. "Okay, Grandma, don't worry. You should also take care of your health. Exercise regularly," Zhang Yuxi said with a smile. "Oh, little Yuxi. Still so pretty. It was a little far away just now, and I couldn't see clearly. I was wondering which little girl it was," another grandma said. "Yes, Grandma, it's me." "Grandma, are your eyes better now?" Zhang Yuxi asked with concern. Because the grandmother had some eye problems, Zhang Yuxi came to her and looked closer before recognizing her as Zhang Yuxi. Zhang Yuxi also understood the physical condition of every elderly person in the nursing home and wrote it down. After all, the director Cheng Hujun often shared the daily performance and situation of the elderly with her on her mobile phone. "Much better, it doesn't hurt anymore. Come closer, I can see clearly," the grandmother said. "Well, Grandma, I'll be next to you," Zhang Yuxi squatted beside the grandmother and said. At this time, warm applause rang out from Lin Feng's side. Zhang Yuxi also looked over curiously, only to see Lin Feng standing in the crowd. "What song do Grandpa and Grandma want to listen to? Let me see if I can sing it," Lin Feng said. "Puff, so it's time to show your talent," Zhang Yuxi said to herself. Because Lin Feng's singing is very nice, the system rewarded him with a master-level song singing ability. And every time he came before, he would sing for the grandparents. The grandparents also praised Lin Feng's singing ability. They all said it was very nice. So this time, the grandparents started to make a noise and asked Lin Feng to sing again. Of course, Lin Feng did not act coyly, but was willing to sing for the grandparents to make them happy. "Child, sing a song for the motherland." "Young man, Sing me in my motherland. Sing whatever you want, grandparents love to listen. When the grandparents heard that Lin Feng was going to sing, they were all excited to discuss. Lin Feng seemed very calm and unhurried in this scene. Because he had experienced it the last time he came, the grandparents were too enthusiastic, and he was used to it. Ha 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 ha. Husband, sing a song. Zhang Yuxi also said in a coaxing voice. Silly wife, stop making trouble. Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi and said with a doting face. How about this, grandparents? I will sing the motherland first, and then sing me in my motherland, okay? Lin Feng said. Okay, okay. The grandparents responded excitedly. Boss Lin, I have already selected the music for you. Just let me know when it's ready to play, and I'll click on it. The nurse at the side said. Lin Feng waved his hand to indicate that it was ready to play. The 5-star red flag is fluttering in the wind. How loud the victory song is. Singing our beloved motherland. From now on, we will move towards prosperity and strength. Singing our beloved motherland. From now on, we will move towards prosperity and strength. Crossing the mountains, crossing the plains. Crossing the surging Yellow River and Yangtze River. The broad and beautiful land. We are our dear parents. Lin Feng sang the song with high morale, and the grandparents gave thunderous applause. Good. Nice to listen to. Good singing. Great kid. The grandparents praised one after another. Sorry for making a fool of myself, grandparents. I hope you like it. Lin Feng said. Fortunately, he can sing a little bit of these songs, otherwise it would be embarrassing. After all, grandparents don't like to listen to our modern songs. Grandpa and Grandma were very excited to listen to these songs, and they all sang along with Lin Feng. Okay, let's sing me in my motherland next. Lin Feng said. The nurse beside him hurriedly helped to play the songs. My motherland and I, we can't be separated for a moment. Wherever I go, a hymn flows. I sing every mountain, I sing every river. Grandpa and Grandma sing together. The curling smoke from the small village, the track on the road. My dearest motherland, I will always be close to your heart. My dearest motherland, you are the sea that never dries up. Always give me clear blue waves and the song in my heart. La 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 la. Lin Feng finished singing another song in the happy atmosphere. At this time, the grandpa and grandma were even more energetic and excited. At this time, Zhang Yuxi slowly walked towards Lin Feng and handed him a bottle of water intimately. Husband, you sing so beautifully, Zhang Yuxi praised. Don't flatter me, these songs sound good no matter who sings them. Lin Feng smiled and said. Zhang Yuxi also covered her mouth and smiled. Grandpa and Grandma's singing will come to an end first. Because, we are going to give you things. We brought a lot of gifts for you this time. Zhang Yuxi said. Oh, my little granddaughter, you buy things every time you come. Yes, this boy and girl are really nice. We are satisfied that you can come and see us. The grandparents said happily. It's okay as long as the grandparents are happy. Lin Feng said. Then Zhang Yuxi followed everyone to move things and brought the things bought for the grandparents to distribute to them. Sister Chang, these nutritional gifts and food, give them 5 portions each. 1 set of clothes and shoes for each person. Zhang Yuxi said. Okay, no problem, I'll tell the nurses to sort them out clearly. Otherwise it will be a mess later. The dean said. Well, you can give more but not less, so try to be as even as possible. Prepare several sizes of shoes, and ask the grandparents what size they wear when the time comes. Zhang Yuxi said. Okay, no problem. The director said. Well, thank you for your hard work, Sister Chang. I'm bothering you to come here in person today. Zhang Yuxi smiled and said. That's right, it's my duty. Besides, I still have to thank you and Mr. Lin. Otherwise, the elderly here wouldn't be treated so well. The director said. However, it is indeed because of the various sponsorships of Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi that the elderly in this nursing home can enjoy their old age and are treated better. If the elderly have children, their happiness index may be slightly better than those lonely elderly people, because their children will occasionally come to visit them when they are free. But some elderly people don't have children, so don't even mention any visits. There are also some elderly people who have children but their children are unwilling to raise them, and they just leave them in the nursing home and don't care about them. Basically, they don't come to the nursing home to see them, and the elderly in this situation should be more heartbroken. Therefore, the warmth brought by Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi also comforted those lonely old people. Even if Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi would chat, sing and dance with them every time they came, these old people would be happy all day. The old people in this nursing home are quite reasonable, and they also know the efforts of Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi, and they are kind to them for no reason. These old people are grateful, so they always treat Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi as their grandchildren. Sometimes they even feel that they are closer than their own family members, and Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi treat them better than their own family members. How can the grandparents not be moved? Afterwards, everyone moved all the things brought by Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi over. Grandparents, listen to me. The nurses will ask you what size shoes you wear later. Because I'm not sure what size you all wear, I prepared several sizes. Just want you to have a choice. Just take the size you usually wear. Zhang Yuxi said. She is also very patient with the elderly. After all, the elderly of this age are actually like children, and you must be very patient to communicate with them. Sometimes it is the same as coaxing a child. At this age, the body and reaction are different from those of young people, and the signals received will be a little slower, so you can only explain it slowly. Chapter 1498, Not Playing by the Rules. Okay, girl, we'll listen to you. Thank you, kid. Baby, you bought us clothes again. The grandparents all said very obediently. Come on, let's divide the things together. Then find out what size shoes the grandparents wear. Everyone take a pen and paper to record the situation of each grandparent. This way, next time we buy something and send it over, you will know that you can look at the record on the table. Zhang Yuxi said. Because the things sent before were distributed by the nurses of the nursing home, and the situation of each grandfather was not recorded, so this time it was the same thing again. Zhang Yuxi thought that she could take advantage of this time to record it clearly, so that it would be much more convenient next time. Wife, smart. Lin Feng said dotingly. Oh, this is normal. Don't flatter me, help me divide the things quickly. Zhang Yuxi smiled and said. Lin Feng immediately obeyed and joined the ranks of dividing things. After half an hour, everyone finally divided everything. Thank you for your hard work, everyone. Have you recorded all the shoe sizes of Grandpa and Grandma? Zhang Yuxi said. Ms. Zhang, they have all been recorded. We'll record them on the computer and make a table when the time comes. The nurse said. Yeah, divide all these things, and then you can deliver them to each of you one by one when the time comes. It's not easy to give them now. Lin Feng said on the side. Okay, Mr. Lin. The nurse said. Mr. Lin, don't worry. I'll arrange for them to get these things done when the time comes. Dean Cheng Hujun said. Yeah, thank you for your hard work, Sister Cheng. Lin Feng said. At this time, Lin Feng looked at his watch. It was already 3 o'clock in the afternoon. They had to go back after staying for a while. After all, today was May 20th, and Lin Feng had arranged for someone to prepare a surprise and a candlelight dinner at home. It would take about 2 hours to get home from the nursing home, so Lin Feng planned to stay for a while and take Zhang Yuxi back. Wife, spend more time chatting with Grandpa and Grandma. It's almost time for us to go back later. Lin Feng said. It's okay, no rush, it just so happens that I have nothing to do today, and it's okay to go later. Zhang Yuxi said. Because she had forgotten that today was 520, she only remembered that it was the weekend. In addition, she couldn't remember it even more when she came to the nursing home to stay with the grandparents. This. Zhang Yuxi didn't play by the rules. Lin Feng was a little amused when he heard Zhang Yuxi's words. He laughed unconsciously on the side. What are you laughing at, silly husband? Zhang Yuxi said with a confused face. She just said 2 normal sentences. How could Lin Feng laugh so happily? She was confused now. I'm happy. I have a silly wife. Lin Feng said with a doting face. He laughed because Zhang Yuxi had completely forgotten what day it was today, and his silly wife was now full of grandparents. He still looked confused. He thought it was a bit cute to be silly, so he couldn't help laughing. And he had to find a way to trick Zhang Yuxi home early, otherwise he would have prepared those surprises in vain. I'll ignore you for now, I'll chat with the grandparents first. Zhang Yuxi said playfully. Then Zhang Yuxi went to chat with his grandmas. Grandma Zhang Yuxi called obediently. Hey, come on, sit down. Talk to Grandma. The grandmas also said very enthusiastically. Baby, are you ready to get married? Grandma asked as soon as Zhang Yuxi sat down. No. We haven't reached the legal age for marriage yet. Wait a little longer. Zhang Yuxi smiled and said, "Oh, that's right. Don't worry, girl, Lin Feng is a good guy, a good person, good in every way. I think he listens to you and is good to you. If you want to find a man, you have to find someone like Lin Feng," Grandma said with a smile. Haha. Grandma, I'm not in a hurry. Let's talk about it when the time comes. It's useless to worry now. You're not old enough yet. Zhang Yuxi said. Girl, it's not easy for two people to be together. You must cherish it. Grandma said. Yes, we will. Zhang Yuxi responded obediently. At this time, Lin Feng was still thinking about how to solve this problem so that Zhang Yuxi would be convinced to go home with him early. Otherwise, let Chen Kun and the others call and say that there is an emergency. But he wants to take Zhang Yuxi home, and Chen Kun can also go home to solve his problems. This is a bit unreasonable. Lin Feng thought about it. So he took out his mobile phone from his pocket and made a call. Mom, I will tell you later that you will come to our house tonight and make some food for us. I'm afraid Yuxi will call you to say hello, so don't let it slip. Lin Feng explained a lot to his mother Jo Kilin. Oh, don't worry. Mom will cooperate with you, and the surprise will definitely succeed. Mother Jo Kilin smiled and said. Then Lin Feng hung up the phone. The matter has been settled. Next is Zhang Yuxi's side. Husband, come here. Zhang Yuxi waved at Lin Feng and said. Lin Feng immediately walked over and squatted down. What's wrong, wife? Lin Feng asked. No, it's the grandmas who are looking for you. Zhang Yuxi said. Lin Feng, my child. Grandma said while pulling Lin Feng's hand. Lin Feng moved closer because the old people were too far away for her to see clearly. Grandma, what's wrong? Lin Feng said. Be good to the girl. Don't quarrel, even if you quarrel, you have to give in to her. Look at me and Grandpa, we have been quarreling for a lifetime, but he always gives in to me. Grandma said meaningfully. Grandma, don't worry about this. She is the only one who bullies me, I dare not bully her. She is the eldest, she has the final say. Lin Feng smiled and said. That's right, boys should be more generous, it's okay to suffer a little loss. The girl makes the decision on small matters, and we discuss big matters together. When two people are together, it's inevitable that there will be some bumps and bruises. It's normal. Don't worry about it. Grandma said. Grandma, when we are with Yuxi, we always listen to her. If she says one thing, I dare not go east. Lin Feng said. Ha 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 ha. After Lin Feng said this, the grandmas on the side all laughed. Hey, 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 don't make you sound miserable, as if I'm the one bullying you. Zhang Yuxi quickly said jokingly. No, you didn't bully me. This is all love. Lin Feng said with a slight smile on his face. Chapter 1499 Playing Chess with Grandpa. Grandma is relieved to see you like this. After all, Lin Feng is really a good boy, worthy of my entrusting my whole life. Girl, Grandma will not be wrong in judging people. Lin Feng is really good. Grandma said with relish. It is said that elders are the most accurate in judging people, and they can know what kind of person this person is after meeting him once. Grandpa and Grandma felt that Lin Feng would become a great man in the future since the first time they met him. So Grandpa and Grandma like Lin Feng very much, and Zhang Yuxi is very relieved to marry him. Young man, he is really good. He is a good person and a good-looking man. He has a good personality, and there is really nothing to complain about. Grandpa, who was standing by, also said after hearing it. Grandpa and Grandma, if you keep praising him, he will be arrogant when he goes back. Zhang Yuxi smiled and said. This child won't be like that, I know it from his personality. If you don't believe me, you can see later that this boy will never be arrogant no matter what achievements he makes. Girl, Grandpa can judge people. Grandpa said meaningfully. Grandpa, thank you very much. You flatter me so much. Lin Feng said. In fact, this grandpa had praised Lin Feng in public since the first time they met. After the first time they got along, the grandpa felt that Lin Feng was definitely a man of great ability in his life. And he was destined to be extraordinary in this life. Because this grandpa knew a little bit about some strange things, and he always judged people very accurately. So he was sure that Lin Feng would achieve great success in this life. Come on, play chess with me. The grandpa smiled and invited. Lin Feng subconsciously looked at the time and could still play a few games with the grandpa. And seeing that the grandpa was really enthusiastic to invite him, he couldn't bear to refuse. Since it was a rare trip, don't spoil the fun and play 2 games with a grandpa before going back. Then Lin Feng accompanied the grandpa to play chess next to him, and Zhang Yuxi continued to chat with the grandmas. Grandpa, I can't beat you. Lin Feng smiled and said. It's okay, play with the grandpa for a while, and practice your chess skills by the way. Hehe. The grandpa smiled proudly. When the grandfathers around saw Lin Feng was going to play chess, they all gathered around to watch. Lin Feng, come on. The grandfathers on the side cheered. He. This puts a lot of pressure on me. I lost so badly before. Lin Feng deliberately said jokingly. At this time, Lin Feng had an idea in his mind, that is, to play 2 games with grandpa, and find a way to win 1 game and lose 1 game. Otherwise, it won't work if I keep losing. At least if I win 1 game, the grandfathers will know that my chess skills have improved. It means that I have to practice well when I go back, otherwise it will be boring to keep losing. Next time, grandpa will not be interested in letting him play together. Ha 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 ha. Grandpa, I won. It's really not easy. After playing for a while, Lin Feng finally won and said. Haha, not bad, young man. Progress, progress. Grandpa smiled and said. No, it must be grandpa who let me win. 1 more game, another game. Lin Feng said. Okay, let's play another game. Grandpa is serious this time. Grandpa said. Lin Feng was thinking that he would lose this game anyway, because winning 1 game was enough, and if he won again, grandpa would lose face. After all, there were a bunch of grandpas watching around him. In fact, Lin Feng's chess skills were very good, and it could be said that he was above the professional level. Grandpa was definitely not better than Lin Feng, but every time Lin Feng played chess with grandpa, he deliberately let himself lose. Pretending to be weak, grandpa would feel a sense of accomplishment and be happy. Besides, since he was playing with an old man, Lin Feng didn't need to fight for victory or defeat. Throughout the whole game, Lin Feng had been deliberately letting the water go, but grandpa didn't notice it. After a while, Lin Feng still lost in the end. Grandpa, you are awesome. I lost. Lin Feng smiled and said. Ha ha ha. Young man, you have made great progress too. Grandpa said. I will try my best. As expected, the old ones are still the best. Lin Feng said while giving a thumbs up. At this time, Lin Feng's mother Jacqueline called. Hello, Mom. Lin Feng took out his cell phone and said. Son, how are you doing over there? Nothing has happened. Mother Jacqueline said. Oh, Mom is almost done. If Yuxi comes to see you, remember what I told you. Lin Feng said. Got it, don't worry about Mom. Mother Jacqueline said with a smile. Then, Lin Feng hung up the phone and looked at his watch. It was already past 4 o'clock. He had to take Zhang Yuxi back. Otherwise, if he delayed it any longer, it would be very late when he got home in the evening. Then the candlelight dinner he arranged might be ruined. Grandpa, wait, I'll take care of something. Lin Feng said. Go ahead, you do your thing. Grandpa said. Then Lin Feng got up and walked to the side to call his assistant. Mr. Lin. The assistant on the other end of the phone said. How is the situation at home? Have you arranged everything? Lin Feng said lightly. Boss Lin, we are setting up the scene now. We are also arranging dinner. It will be ready around 5 o'clock. The assistant said. Well, it should be ready before 6 o'clock anyway. I'll take Yuxi back soon. Lin Feng said calmly. Okay, I understand, Boss Lin. The assistant replied respectfully immediately. After hanging up the phone, Lin Feng thought about it. It would take about 2 hours to get home from the nursing home at around 4 o'clock, so he could get home at around 6 o'clock, or at most 7 o'clock. That time is just right, and 7 o'clock is also around dinner time. So now he has to find a way to get Zhang Yuxi to go back with him. So Lin Feng slowly walked towards Zhang Yuxi. What's wrong, husband? Aren't you going to play chess with grandpa? Zhang Yuxi looked up and asked. Wife, come here for a moment, I have something to say. Lin Feng said. Then Zhang Yuxi immediately stood up and walked to the side with Lin Feng. What's the matter? Mysterious. Zhang Yuxi asked with a curious look on her face. We have to go back. Mom and Dad are coming to our house. They cooked a lot of dishes and brought them here for us to eat. Lin Feng said calmly. Ah. Have Mom and Dad arrived? Zhang Yuxi said. Yes, they are almost there. My mom just called me and said they are on the way. They told me they are almost there. Lin Feng said. But it will take us about 2 hours to get home from here. Let mom and dad wait for a while if they arrive. Zhang Yuxi said. Okay, so we have to go home now. Hurry up and say goodbye to grandpa and grandma. Let's come again next time when we have time. Lin Feng said. Well, I was planning to stay until the evening before going back. Since mom and dad are coming, we can only go back a little earlier. Zhang Yuxi said. At this time, a stone fell from Lin Feng's heart. He was worried that Zhang Yuxi would not believe what he said so easily and called his mother to confirm. It seems that he thought too much. Moving out his own parents is still very useful for Zhang Yuxi. As Lin Feng thought about it, a satisfied smile appeared on his face. Chapter 1500, Cherish the people in front of you. Silly husband, what are you laughing at? You look weird. Are you hiding something from me? Zhang Yuxi saw Lin Feng laughing and said with a puzzled look. I didn't. My wife is innocent. How could I hide something from you? I dare not. Lin Feng immediately said in a cowardly manner. HMPH, it's better otherwise I'll spank you. Zhang Yuxi said with a proud face. What a close call. At this time, Lin Feng was relieved and was almost discovered by Zhang Yuxi. Absolutely not, my wife, please rest assured. Lin Feng smiled and said. I believe you for now. Let's say hello to Sister Cheng first. Zhang Yuxi said. Yeah, it should be. Lin Feng nodded in response. Then, Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi came to the side of the Dean Cheng Hujun. Sister Cheng, come here. Zhang Yuxi waved her hand and said. What's wrong? Mrs. Lin. The Dean asked. Well, it's like this, because of something urgent, we have to go back now. I was planning to stay until the evening, it seems that I can't. Zhang Yuxi said. Is that so? It's okay. If you have other things to do, go and do it first. You have been here for a few hours today. The Dean smiled and said. Well, let's go and say goodbye to the grandparents, and then we'll leave. Zhang Yuxi said. Then Lin Feng took Zhang Yuxi's hand and came to the group of old people. Young man, come on, continue playing chess. Lin Feng shouted with a grandfather who was playing chess just now. Okay, grandparents, Yuxi and I have something to say. Lin Feng said. He didn't directly refuse the grandfather's invitation, because he didn't have the heart to do it. It's like this, grandparents, because we have something urgent to deal with, so we have to rush back now. You continue to have fun. We will come to see you as soon as we are free next time. Zhang Yuxi said. Hey, girl, are you leaving? That's right, there's nothing we can do about it. Go ahead, it's more important to deal with things. Girl, remember to come back when you have time. Grandpa and Grandma miss you so much. As soon as Zhang Yuxi finished speaking, the grandparents sitting below started chattering non-stop. They were reluctant to let Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi leave, but they also understood very well. After all, young people have more things to do, and it's more important to deal with things. Young man, I also asked you to play chess with me. It seems that I can only wait until next time. The grandpa who was playing chess said reluctantly. Grandpa, I will come to play chess with you when I am free. Lin Feng said. Come often. Grandpa is getting older day by day. I'm afraid it's too late. Grandpa said sadly. Okay, Grandpa, you have to take good care of yourself. Lin Feng said. Afterwards, Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi reluctantly said goodbye to the grandparents in the nursing home, walked out, got in the car and left. What is left is the eager eyes of the elderly in the nursing home. In fact, the elderly of this age have many things to look forward to, because after all, they will get older and older. The people they can see are getting fewer and fewer. Perhaps young people do not understand the importance of time. They cannot understand the state of mind of the elderly, but when they really reach a certain age, they have experienced a lot and seen a lot of things, and then they find that companionship is the most important, and of course the most precious. Therefore, people should cherish the present and the people in front of them. Lin Feng was driving Zhang Yuxi home. Husband, Dad and Mom should be here. We will be there in about an hour. Wait, they have been waiting for too long. Zhang Yuxi said. It's okay, my wife, don't worry. It can't be helped. It's just dinner time when we get home. Lin Feng said. Well, I'll call my mom to say hello. Zhang Yuxi thought for a while and said. No need, my wife, I've asked her to wait for us at home. Lin Feng said quickly. In fact, he deliberately didn't want Zhang Yuxi to call his mother Juggling. After all, he couldn't guarantee whether his mother's acting skills were up to par. If his mother was exposed, then he would have worked in vain today. How can that be the same? You said that because you are a son, then both parents are here, and as a future daughter-in-law, I must greet them. Otherwise, it would be impolite and ignorant of me. Zhang Yuxi said. Okay, my wife is right. Call her. Lin Feng said. What Zhang Yuxi said was not unreasonable, and he had no reason for Zhang Yuxi not to call her mother Juggling. If he insisted on not calling her, it would backfire, and it would be more trouble than gain. Then Zhang Yuxi called Lin Feng's mother. Hello, Mom. Are you here now? Zhang Yuxi asked. Yuxi, I have arrived. We have just arrived, don't worry, be careful. Lin Feng's mother Juggling said excitedly. Yes, Mom, if you're hungry, eat first. No need to wait for us, we're still on the way. It'll probably take another hour. Zhang Yuxi said obediently. Don't worry, Mom knows. Mother Juggling said. Okay, Mom, that's it for now, bye. Zhang Yuxi hung up the phone after she finished speaking. How is it? Dad and Mom should be here, right? Lin Feng pretended to ask. Yes, they said they just arrived. But why did Dad and Mom suddenly come here today? She told me before she came. Zhang Yuxi said. After all, according to the usual practice, Lin Feng's parents would call in advance before coming, and they would usually call her. However, today, they suddenly knew that their parents were coming, which was a bit abnormal. Zhang Yuxi couldn't help but feel a little confused. Maybe Dad and Mom missed you, and they made delicious food to bring over. I'm afraid to disturb us if I tell you, because we didn't do anything when they came. Lin Feng explained. He could only say this at this time, because if he said it again, Zhang Yuxi would ask again. He won't know how to explain it then. After all, Lin Feng is the worst at lying. Well, okay. I just wonder why they didn't call me this time. They used to call me first. Why did they call you today? Zhang Yuxi said. Wife, you're worrying too much? I guess Mom just wanted to give you a surprise. She made so many delicious foods. She must have come because of you. If it was just me, she wouldn't have come. Lin Feng smiled and said. Ha 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 ha. I believe this Zhang Yuxi also laughed. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.